last few months, and they brought them all together in one big squad that is meant to just rumble through the entire bracket. You've got Zcaro, you've got Stream Sniping TV, and this team is basically one of the best teams that you can find on PS4, specifically built for this CGL season, and they're very confident that they can run all the way undefeated.
Well, that's big talk. I like the idea of kind of a super group PS4 team that's been designed here for the T6 competition. For those of you who are joining us perhaps for the first time, T6, it is a little confusing because it does run opposite to a lot of other Overwatch areas, but T6 is the highest here. So these are the top absolute cream players, right? This is the best. So yeah, when we're saying a super group, the Avengers of PS4, lab made to try and win this CGL season. We know what we're talking about here. But you know, any players we should be watching out for on the side of Supreme?
You've got Vesma first off, and you've also got Angel Velato. And I think this match is definitely going to be a battle between the DPS lineups. Like I mentioned earlier, there's Zcaro on the side of Paranoia. He's going to be matching up against two really strong players. The entirety of the roster of Supreme is really good, but their DPS are definitely going to pop off. I expect that in our second match of the night, but we're definitely going to see some pop-off plays, and that's what Tier 6 is all about. It's about bringing these teams in with players from the highest of the high ranks on the ladder and watching them pop off. I'm expecting a lot from these DPS duos, but I also think that adaptability is going to be big in this match because the teams, they have all of the coordination down. They're high enough level to get the set plays done. But the question is, can they adapt mid-match, mid-map, mid-team fight even to win? And I think difference maker is going to be that. That's going to be the metric that decides the winner here tonight.
Well, good segue, actually. Who do you see the winner as? How far do you see this going? No spoilers. I actually haven't watched it. I have no idea. I don't know I think you've uploaded the VODs, but you haven't watched them that much either. So who do you think walks away with this?
In all honesty, I think Paranoia is a very strong squad, but they did show some cracks in their Week 2 match that I watched. And like I was saying about adaptability, they didn't really show too much of that. They just sort of stuck with their exact comps on each map. And I think I haven't seen much from Supreme on the other hand, but if they can adapt, then they can win. So I'm going to give the slight edge to them, just hoping that they can prove me right and just hoping that they can bring that factor into the match. So I would give them a very close win over Paranoia, but you can hardly decide anything with two squads this strong and this fabled coming into a match.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much, NSB, for that little analysis. Very informative, actually. Gives us a good idea what we're looking for in this mega matchup. Now we'll throw it over to our casters, which are going to be me, I guess, and Joker's Ransom to bring you the start of this match on Ilios, our first map of the night. Hello then, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to pretend like this. I'm Chabubba, Overwatch. How are we feeling tonight, Joker?
You know, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fresh. I just woke up from a nap after a long day of work, and I'm really excited to see some nice Tier 6 Overwatch on the PC. Not the PC.
I hope not.
This is Council Overwatch. I hope no one's playing on PC.
Yeah.
PS of CGL. It should be really interesting to see. I haven't gotten any PS4 games this season, and I'm excited for this to be my first one.
Yeah, funny enough, actually, I think this is the first PS4 match I've casted ever for the Console Gaming League. I'm usually an Xbox person, so it's kind of exciting as well. But I think we're ready to get started here. For those of you who are curious tonight, you kind of maybe picked up hints of it, but we are running off replay codes for all of our maps here. So that will be how we will be doing this tournament. As many of you know, we've instituted that replay code policy on a lot of our tournaments, or at least our console tournaments, specifically because of DDoSing and stuff like that. So that's what we're going into. But looking at Ilios map number 1, these teams are playing on the previous patch, Joker, so we won't be seeing those rank changes going into effect just yet.
Yeah, and so we're probably still going to see a lot of double shield that with the Baptiste and maybe some ball. I'm not going to spoil anything because I definitely didn't watch the VOD a little bit, but maybe some ball. But definitely double shield is going to be prevalent in this matchup, especially in the higher tiers of Overwatch. You see that double shield pulled out 90% of the time with that BAP, and sometimes a Mercy or a Zenyatta in that the heals department, and probably maybe a Hanzo or a McCree in one of the DPS slots, and then you can really just whatever you want for your flex DPS to run. You can see maybe like a Reaper or something like that.
Well, indeed. Well, you see the maps there. It's Ilios, Eichenwald, Vizcayo, Rialto, and then, if necessary, onto a tiebreaker. But that'll do us for now, and I think we're about ready to get started here on our first map.
Yeah, it should be really interesting, and I'd like to see where we're going to be going into. We're going to be going into Lighthouse is what that is. I always forget what the name of that's the running joke whenever a cast if I can remember the names of the maps.
Well, you got that one right, so that's your first point for Overwatch Trivia Night here, and it'll be an Echo leading us in early on. That's Zakaro. They're just over the top trying to get some peak damage in. Both sides favoring that kind of Air Force composition. Corbot there on the ball, rolling around, trying to create some havoc. Can't quite make it stick. Comes in for the boop, but of course booping a D.Va there. Not going to get a lot of value. The two balls there engaging briefly on the point before backing up. Just rolling around there. Utter chaos coming out of both of these compositions. Very pick-oriented, sort of quasi-dive style comps here, but no real big initial casualties, Joker.
Yeah, well, there we go. Right after say Paranoia getting into the kill feed, and they're Paranoia running an interesting composition. They're running that dive tanks here with double bird in the sky with a Mercy pocket. So it should be really interesting to see. Now that we've seen Tremor go over to that wrecking ball hog composition.
Oh.
And that can do a lot of damage. We saw that in the Owl playoffs in October. Was it October, November? No, when was I don't know.
Time.
Know, man.
A while ago.
quarantine time. That's
yeah.
We're gonna be seeing the side of Supreme going in over to the point hopefully soon. They need to look for that first pick. That definitely only Dinks here needs to get that first pick. That's what that wrecking ball is meant to do.
Well, he's not going to get it right there. He gets hooked immediately by Trevor. The stun coming in fast there from Stream Sniping as well, but Stream Sniping won't last for more than a second after that. They're trying to push in here. Zakaro gets in, does have the ult if they choose to use it, but it's a good barrage combined with some mines on both sides there, just causing utter devastation on the point. Eventually, though, it does look like Paranoia is ticking down here. Supreme will flip the point, but a decent 43% coming in there, Joker.
Yeah, really good control. You'd like to see you would like to see maybe up to a 50% or something like that. But there's a nice engagement from Supreme. Only Dinks here with that nice minefield onto the point. You saw them get mines almost everywhere on that point, and you can't really go anywhere when minefields is on the field. And now Corbot gonna get that first pick.
Yeah, Corbot gets an early kill there on I'm Wanted. Unfortunately, that's going to set them back a little bit. That Zenyatta is such a large source of damage production for the team. Zakaro taken out, rezzed back almost immediately. Now the fight's starting to boil over towards the point. Only Dinks here just trying to hold it off. A high noon does come off, but LTS will get absolutely nothing out of that. The ball doing most of the delay here, but the entire enemy team, including a cloned Echo, trying to hunt one poor little hamster down. Only Dinks here won't be able to sustain, and the point will flip back and forth, and they are just turning this thing backwards and forwards here, Joker.
Oh, Zekiro almost going down really low and almost dying really early in that engagement. That's not what you want to see. LTS Phantom is on to the Soldier now with that. Still, it's been a while with that new Soldier kind of, and it's going to be interesting how they can work with that Soldier in this competition. And look at that, he gets value already.
Dinks got countered hard there going through that hallway, lost almost 3/4 of his health in one little roll through there with the combined might of Stream Sniping and Tremor, but Tremor is now dead. Absolute zero falling to the grade. It's Angel Volato actually on the high ground on this Ashe, hitting some big shots, opening up the point for the team and turning it around before they could hit that 85% mark on the side of Paranoia.
Yeah, Angel Volado's doing so much work on this Ashe pick for Supreme, as he's just negating those not the snipers, the birds in the sky, and we've seen Absolute Zero swap over from that Pharah to try to contest him on this Ashe, and let's hope, for Paranoia's sake, that he can do that in fact.
Oh, 92% on the timer. We're counting down here. They need to make moves and quickly. Tremor does have the whole hog if they choose to get in. They've now got the Mercy Valkyrie coming in as well, but nobody touches. Oh no, disaster right there. You saw Zakaro, I think, picked up and noticed it and was nearly touching the point right there at the end. Didn't quite make it though.
Yeah, it was unlucky. You saw the Echo, the Zakaro, right next to the point, but then couldn't get there in time, and mistakes like that can cost you maps, and we saw them lose that first point. They could have, I think they definitely had the ultimates, I think, to recapture that point if they used all of them at once or a couple. So it's unfortunate that Paranoia couldn't capitalize on their ultimate bank.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, honestly, like, you just can't be making slip-ups like that at this level of play. Like, somebody's got to touch the point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Somebody has got to touch that point. Anyway, here we go. Boiling forward again. Similar comps coming out one more time. These sort of dive-ish sort of compositions with the balls and the divas seem to be the comp du jour. Oh, wanted! Absolutely annihilated by Absolute Zero and the rest of the squad there. Great little dive, and that's actually going to end the fight before it even begins. Oh, yeah. Corpo fed in at the end.
Yeah, now it's anyone's game. If Angel Volado can get a pick on this with his Widow, but now we're gonna see Stream Sniping get that pick on the only Jinx here. So but that's a nice flick from Angel Volado onto the Echo in the sky. Oh my goodness.
The Caro didn't even know what happened there. Now the tac buys are coming out as well over the top. It's LTS fan just trying to get some sort of kill in here. The kill feed is stacking up in favor of Supreme. So much being put to try and slow that soldier down when he was ulting, allowed the rest of the squad to just roll up those kills. And they'll flip the point. And you'll notice Joker Paranoia never even got a percentage. They never took it.
And that's all due to Corbot right there. If he didn't die in that mid team fight there, and then wherever before.
Oh no! James got jumped on the high ground at the start of this fight, and it's another Paranoia member going down at an inopportune time. I think that's just gonna hold them back some more.
Yeah, you've gotta be together. I know this is a dive composition, but you've gotta calm when you're going in and going out, like especially at this high level Overwatch. If you make a mistake, you will be punished for it, and we're seeing that right now from Supreme. They're punishing any mistake. They're really much like season 1 and season 2 of NYXL here. They're punishing mistakes of the opposing team.
Shots coming in there early on. Corbot just trying to do a little bit of damage. Will actually roll around the backside, now looking for an opportunity. But Angel Volado on the high ground, immediately divested of that position by Envy. Trevor pops the sights right away, just trying to get a little bit of peeksies for his team. There's getting pressure from the backside. Absolute Zero. So much pressure from the Tracer. Volado is able to get out though. Still the rest of the team struggling here to contain Volado with a beautiful headshot onto Trevor, but Zakaro getting revenge for that earlier death. Still, though, the point has not been flipped.
Yeah, and early in that fight, we saw Vesmo, I'm going to say, from the side of Supreme, eat the Absolute Zero's Pulse Bomb. And that could have decided that fight, really, if he got a nice pick onto someone. But right now, it's looking good for Paranoid to win this fight. They've got 4 ultimates online, but so do 3 ultimates online for the side of Supreme. It's no slouch, but you've got to give it to that. Oh no!
Volado again! Catches Absolute Zero looking. The Diva Bomb over the top though. That's LTS out of the fight. That's going to force some ultimates out on the other side as well. A Baptiste window coming out for Paranoia. James trying to make something happen with it. LTS will be rezzed in the back line. The fight continuing to boil here. Bomb over the top. Zakaro somehow loses their illusion twice. Double clone elimination right there. Absolute Zero trying to force this one out. Immortality field coming out from James there, just trying to preserve him, but Vesmo in his face. Just kills all over the place. Absolute chaos here for about a split second. before Tremor loses the mech. And if Tremor drops off, Corbot not able to hold on. And that will be a win for Supreme.
And I think it was really the tail of those first picks in the
We're back to Ilios.
we're back to Ilios, but no, it was really the tail of those first picks for Supreme, especially on Ruins of Ilios. You saw James go down early in those fights, Corbot go down early in that fight, and that nice pick on Absolute Zero by the Supreme Widow was just a multitude of picks that they needed and they got to just keep the Paranoia's pressure off of them. And you saw Supreme really work with what they were given and able to take map 1 really convincingly.
Yeah, that was a relatively convincing win. I think you're on the right path here. It just seems to be these small errors that are stacking up, right? That are kind of contributing to these situations, as you were pointing out, right? They had the situation in which they lost Corbot early on, and then James was taken out of it, and it was just kind of this back and forth. They could never, I think, establish a rhythm. So Supreme, I mean, showing why they're champions, right? At this stage. As we look ahead here to Eichenwald, what do you think we see these teams run?
Well, I was wrong with my prediction about double shield, but you've got to think they're going to be running double shield here, or if anything, they'll be running a Ryan Sigma, if anything, because I do like Eichenwald, Ryan on Eichenwald. It's not King's Row, Ryan, but yeah, you've got to like the double shield, Bap Rig, maybe Bap Mercy, Bap Zen. Composition, and maybe a pocketed Ash if you're going to run that Mercy, and maybe a Hanzo, maybe a double sniper composition.
Yeah, well, I agree with that assessment. I mean, I think your prediction, if we predict double shield here, we're maybe not wrong. The ball may be getting a little bit more value on Ilios than it would on Eichenwald. As we get ready to leap into our next map, a little trip to Germany here, and that fine castle. Eichenwald, just like that, boom. You know what? They are. I would say that they had heard us, and we're out to prove us wrong. But obviously, that's that's true.
Well, yeah, they just they don't want me to be right today.
No, they just do not want to play that double shield. Can't blame them.
I can't blame them either. But I mean, we've seen the composition that Paranoia's run work in Owl with majority of the teams running in the grand finals, that Sigma Hammond composition, if they ran anything like with Hammond instead of that Hammond Hog composition.
Well, some light shots there coming in from Absolute Zero on this far. Oh, Tremor! An early kill on the LTS. LTS just caught looking absolutely annihilated. Now pushing into this Ash, swinging away with the melee. Corbot rolls up, tries to, I think, get a boop in there. Can't quite make it work. Volado, of course, winning things back for the team on the high ground. On the Ash, though, even as I say that, the combination of stream sniping right there with Absolute Zero will take them down. They might be able to turn this around, but not without a lot of bloodshed. No, I think they'll lose out here. It's just really the Pharmacy holding it in.
Yeah, as LTS fan getting rezzed up and coming back, and then we saw Corbot going down there. But yeah, it was a nice pick on with by Tremor onto LTS fan in the early team fight, but they couldn't capitalize on that. And you've gotta, especially with that ball, you've gotta get into that team really quickly and get some other picks in the fight, and definitely get the healers out of the fight, because I think that's really what's been carrying this Supreme team.
Volado trying to get a pick there with the window, could not quite make it stick. You see Zakero firing back in, playing actually fast and loose with the sightlines on that window, as only Dinks here is taken out. Zakero does have the high noon, probably not going to choose to use it right now. They're going to continue to just keep fire on that high ground as the Diva Bomb comes out. A quick duck there into the clock tower. Absolute Zero drops in. Zakero gets 2 with the high noon. Absolute Zero looking for a pick, can't quite find it. They might not need it if they can just take this Diva out of the fight. And sure enough, Vesmo will go down. One body on, trying to contest a Brave Ball. Only Dinks here, unfortunately, will be taken out, and they will get that flip.
Yeah, but if you are Paranoia there, I don't like that far ultimate to be used. I mean, if Zakero didn't get that 2K Deadeye, it might have been better, but Zakero, after using that ultimate, I don't think I liked it. But oh well, Absolute Zero switching off, so it makes sense in the end. I guess no. I would like to see it used better, but here comes Bob by Angel Volato into the fight.
That was good Bob, actually, by Angel. I thought it might go over the top here. LTS up there on the high ground. Pops the high noon. Actually does manage to sort of secure a pickoff. He gets Corbot. Unfortunately, Angel Volato and Angel Volato's Bob both going down in quick succession right there. Minefield coming out here for just a second from only Dinks here. I think he's just trying to delay the push out. The Sigma shield being sacrificed there by Tremor to get him forward. Unfortunately, the Immortality field was used in the midst of that fight as well, so a key resource taken out of the pool there as LTS gets one, and then somehow James runs into a minefield. Absolute disaster for the Mercy. The fight continuing apace here. Vesmo getting the protection of the Immortality field, does actually have to fall back. The pressure just a little too heavy, and I think that signals the end of that particular skirmish.
Yeah, and only Dinks here with a massive minefield there, getting that pick in the fight and really just changing the tide of the fight. But Corbett getting that early pick onto only Dinks here is going to be big for the side of Paranoia. And another pick! That's a nice Hammond tech.
The hamster owns the castle. High ground minefield as well. The Immortality field does come out there. Corbot actually trapped in the high ground, does actually still get wanted out of the fight. Drops in here, will not be able to survive. The Hammond duel continues with only Dinks there picking off his opposite number. Those two balls have been at it all night long.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the Overwatch community are really still kind of mad about where the space where Ball is at the moment. It hasn't been changed at all, and I think a lot of people are kind of mad about that. But hopefully we can. I still love to see some Wrecking Ball gameplay, and especially these two. They're doing so good with the Wrecking Ball tech. If you caught it.
Yeah, they really are, and Angel Volato right there doing a little bit of hard work. These Cowboy Cubs dueling each other across the point. Volato will get res. The Gravitic coming out as well. Only Dinks here taken out early on. Window coming down basically to stop a push on the high ground, but it's Vesma with two right there as they throw the Diva Bomb in and clean up. LTS fan there to help as well, and it's one very isolated Zakero hiding on the low ground.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone knows that they're down there.
I don't think they do.
So I mean, it's just a really easy pick if you're either only Dinks here or something or Vesmo. You could just go down there, but they're not going to get them in the end. But we're going to be seeing Corbett swapping off the ball for the first time, I believe, as he's going to be on this Roadhog now. But that's two picks from both sides now.
Killfeed looking more like a team deathmatch than an organized Xbox fight. Oh, Dinks! He rolled over the edge and slammed down. The hamster plunges to his death in the ravine. His team might just be able to hold on to this, but the battle in the castle not going particularly well here. Corbat on that hog making a big difference already. LTS absolutely destroyed. A Valking Mercy kill there, I think, captured on stream for you as well. James came over the top and absolutely gunned him down, Joker.
Yeah, it was really nice to see, but it's still going to be Supreme's going to be able to contest this, as Paranoid didn't get any cart progress, and we're going to be maybe seeing a sneaky high noon from LTS fan. Now, they're not going to need to, as Angel Volato getting a pick in the early fight. They're going to get stream sniping out.
Boy, I think they tried to get the hook. Corbot tried to get the hook there on only Dinks. Dinks, I think, just avoided it by half a split second. Angel Volato now on the high ground does have the ball if they need it. Really, that hog just trying to get these flanking positions, but the entire team up there to meet him, not going to go so well. Paranoia trying to push this cart forward, getting stalled out heavily underground. Absolute Zero is getting a pick there. There comes the Bob, as perhaps is to be expected, but it's behind the cart. No, the cart will remain contested. The team actually has to drop down to fight it out. Volato's Bob doing huge work. He's here with two! Huge grab kill from the hamster, and that'll be enough to secure them that second point defense.
We probably didn't see that play from only Dinks here on that Wrecking Ball there, but you can expect it might have been that one little Hammond tech that you can stop, like go Fireball for a second, then go Fireball right after that if you have a decent amount of grapple length. So we might have been able to see that, and that's a really cool Hammond tech if you can do it right. But It's really the tale of only Dix here, and I think Angel Velato with on the side of Supreme right now. Only Dix here getting so much value on that wrecking ball, and Angel Velato just doing so much on the Ashe for Supreme at the moment.
Ready for battle.
Oh,
I think there was a Freudian slip in there, but I'm not gonna point it out. It's okay.
What did I do?
Oh no, it's good. We're all good here. Professional. That's right. Taking a look though, I mean, yeah, you're right. It was a good little bit of tech, I think, to get those kills at the end. And again, just more impressive performance from Supreme. And I have to wonder at this point in time, Joker, if you're Paranoia, this is starting to feel a little grim. You get 2-0'd on map number 1. Now you're coming into Eichenwald, and you get held at second point. When do you start worrying a little bit? I mean, they've gone into the more perhaps comfortable double shield here for their defense. We'll see how it works.
Yeah, and I think I like this, especially with only Dix here and still on that wrecking ball. With Zakero on the Torbjorn could be really good. It just auto-locks to targets, and look at that. Only Dix here getting stunned up and by that Absolute Zero and Brigitte, and it's looking good for them right now, especially with this composition that Supreme is running. It's really in the favor of Paranoia right now.
Yeah, Dinks trying to get in the backline there actually just got absolutely annihilated. They've got multiple stuns. They've got the turret as well. It's not exactly the world's easiest composition for a ball to push into. Really just exchanging fire. I think they're waiting for Dinks here to set up some sort of play, and there it is. Oh, just stunned and annihilated. The ball wrecked coming in. That's the exact opposite of the name. A good ball wrecking as opposed to a wrecking ball.
Yeah. You've got to swap. If you're, the only Dinks here is switching off him. The smart decision. You can't run a wrecking ball into 3 stuns, 4 stuns, if you count Halt as a stun. And I still liking Paranoia's position on the point. They've got Molten Core online for this next, if they decide to push, and here comes the Molten Core.
There it is, Molten Core out early on. I'm wanted, caught out, burned down almost immediately. Window coming out here as well by James. That's just a ton more damage going in. The res does come out. I don't think they're able to get it off. They force Parrish back away from the res. And it's just cleanup game there at the end, Joker. They'll just burn them right back, and this double shield is looking solid.
Yeah, and we're seeing the tale of why double shield is just so good in Overwatch still. It's especially with a high double shield. I love to see high double shield, especially coordinated tank gameplay with the Halt and the rock combo. It's so nice to see. But we're gonna see Angel Velato in the back.
Here it comes.
Is he gonna get a big one?
It's like a falcon waiting to strike. The barrage is in. Oh, I think he might have just messed that up a little bit. They get a ton of action on point there, actually, and I think Velato just waited a little bit too long to make the play. Probably about the time that they booped themselves into a wall was when they needed to actually kind of get in and drop that barrage.
Yeah, and they could have gotten a big one, but like you said, that missed concussion. I don't really.
Concussion rocket, yeah.
Concussion rocket, that's what it's called. Okay. Well, yeah, there was just a mishap on the concussion rocket. Oh, but Angel Velato. Oh no, that's not what you want to see. But Parrish is going to be able to get that res up.
Velato's back in, the window up on the front now, but it's a great Gravitic coming out here from Corbot. Slams 2 into the ground, turns him to paste, and he's going for Orisa as well. Velato still holding on to this barrage on the backside of the map. The defense can't do anything but hide. Lost the Mercy Pocket as well. Disaster.
Yeah. And I think they know where Velato is as well, but I think they're just gonna leave him. Velato needs to use that ultimate like now. They have 33 seconds left in this game. They've got to use it as quickly as possible. I want to getting the Torbjorn turret out as so that's good.
LTS fans' life flashes before their eyes right there, pulled in front of the window, nearly died, manages to get back. Do have a tire here, and the tire will come out. Rotating around the outside edge, gotta get value out of this, does get value out of it. Two big picks right there. LTS fan now coming up on the back with those grenades, trying to destroy the turret, clear some space. Vesmo in on the action as well. That should be enough to secure it. And they still have a barrage.
Yeah, I don't know if Angel Volado plays far, but normally you press the triangle button on the PS4 here, because that's the ultimate button, to use your ultimate, and but we didn't see that at all from Volado. He hasn't even swapped yet. I don't.
You're gonna get barrage. Let's just say that barrage better be real good. That better be the best barrage I've ever seen. Gravitic coming out early on here from Vesma. That was well done. Barrage comes in. All that, ladies and gentlemen, it's Zakero's turret. That is an unfortunate death. Meanwhile, Zakero with that Molten Core ult, just cleaning up the defenders, surge forward. They've got a tight defense here, Joker, but that's a good start for it.
Yeah, and before we saw Volado use that ultimate, I was about to say better be a 6K, but then I think he only gets.
It was just the turret.
Yeah, it was just the turret. But we're gonna see him swapping over to that more comfort hero that I think we usually see that we saw him pop off on. But oh wow, Stream Sniping is just good. He's doing such good spy checking right now for. Oh, but that's a nice boop off of a high
really
ground.
Good boop. The Gravitic comes out almost immediately thereafter. Corbot trying to keep his team in the fight. I think he actually got stunned out of the ult. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. He didn't get value out of it. Tremor here on the low ground now with the rest of the team, just trying to hold the defensive line. Actually won't use the beatdown bongo. Doesn't quite need it at this stage. More than happy to just do a little bit of regular damage. Zakero there, nearly up on a Molten Core again. It's been very successful with those all night long. What is this little hunting pack action in the back line? I'm wanted is killed. They know, though, that Dinks is still back there, but Dinks has been struggling, still running that ball into the comp.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they thought they could get more value here on this part. Maybe they thought they could get more value on this part of the map, but it's not looking good for him with this wrecking ball at the moment. But here comes Vesmo getting that first pick on It's James. That's going to be huge.
Window is out here from Wanted. I don't think they got the value they wanted out of that. Zakero drops in with the Molten Core over the top, looking to do some serious damage. They're actually just teaming up on Vesmo's Diva in the back line. They'll get it out right away. Stream Sniping there, getting a kill. Corbot in on the action as well. Zakero gets in. They might actually hold it. That was so close before Dinks touched, but Dinks annihilated. There's nothing they can do. I don't think there's anyone left to touch. And just when things were looking down for Paranoia, they will get a solid hold on Eichenwald and propel themselves into map 3.
Yeah, it was a really nice hold for Paranoia there. Zakero with a nice Molten Core at the start off that last fight there, splitting off the team, getting Diva out of, towards really close out of mech with the Molten Core, and then not being able to get any support to that Diva because of the Molten Core in front of the card as well. So you like to see that from Zakero, making big plays for Paranoia if they want to come back into the series. And they did, tying up the series 1-1, and we're going to be going into Volskaya next.
Volskaya, the 2CP map, I kind of expect to see similar comps again, though I think we do have to wonder about the wisdom of Dinks trying to run that ball again on the second point into this double shield composition that seemed almost perfect made, like the Frankenstein's monster, right? This nemesis that they created specifically to stop that ball from getting any value. I mean, just every time.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do if you're running. As Dinks has a very solid wrecking ball, and that's what you got to do if you are not getting any. If you're not dealing with a ball very well with mirroring it, you've got to run those stuns for him. And Paranoia running it to a T. Stream Sniping was very good with that Brigitte, the flail, and the bash onto the wrecking ball, as we saw on some of map 2 there. And I'm really excited to see how Supreme take this next map. Are we going to see more of this wrecking ball, or are we going to go towards that double shield, or are we going to see a Reinhardt maybe here? as Volskaya not really known as a wrecking ball map, maybe map 0.2, but
Yeah.
I
Maybe.
wouldn't normally call Volskaya a wrecking ball map. But hey, I don't
No,
call
I agree.
Eichenwald a wrecking ball map either. But we saw it.
Yeah, it's a cold place. It's not very ball friendly. Looks like we're ready to get started here. So we'll be moving into Volskaya Industries, and we'll see what they've got in the tank for us. But you know, that first map was a little rough. Second map though, it's looking like something pretty good. That was a tight fight right there. That was very close to the bitter end. We'll see what they can muster for us as we get ready to get started on Volskaya.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it. I'm still surprised we haven't seen a Hanzo.
There we go.
Really, but, because I'd like Hanzo's really very good, but I mean, I guess it's really just about what they're more comfortable on. But I think Hanzo right now in its specific place it's in is really a broken character at the moment. So I'm surprised we haven't seen it. You know, normally you see the broken characters used more often in the higher tiers because that's what you usually play.
Also, before we get started here, big shout out to Skate Action handling our production for the night. Man flew across the country today, landed, and managed to get our production going. Big thank you so much for that. But looks like they're getting started here early on. Dinks is waiting like some sort of hamster like Batman.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Tower, waiting for them to roll in here. And the comp's going to start to sort of collapse here around the push that's coming in. They are running the double shield, so they're trying to get the firing line established. Now that they do have that control of the high ground, it's going to be a matter of keeping the ball off. Oh no, he's knocked! Vesmo came up there and sent absolute zero into that absolute zero temperature water on the side of the map, and oh, it's just all carnage all the time.
Yeah,
Wow, that's brutal.
I thought only Dinks here was going to be the one off the map, but it turned out to be
So did I.
absolute zero off the map, thanks to Vesmo. But still, I do like this composition coming out from Paranoia here. And we're going to be seeing Zekro going back over to this Wrecking Ball, and here comes Bat Hammond.
It's like Assassin's Creed. He's just waiting. He's got his hit blade ready to go. Here it comes. He'll roll in. Now actually he's going to play a little bit off the team. I actually think he's looking to move them maybe towards the spawn entrance, like back towards the gate. The shot's coming in there from LTS to be expected. That Soldier's doing a little bit of damage. Watch it popping the shield as well. Vesmo needs to be a little bit careful here.
Ooh, and that's
Volato caught looking on the backside. Absolute zero with the big pick to start. Now they're forcing that immortality field out early. They've got the window out as well. So if they're going to get some picks, they're going to get it now. But it's only Dinks here again. Zakaro that time knocked off the high ground, sent into the drink.
Oh my goodness.
Cornbot goes in. Oh no.
You know,
What's you stop holding up there?
As much as we've been kind of questioning this Wrecking Ball pick, every time we question it, only Dinks here does something incredible with this Wrecking Ball, as we've seen from time and time again. He's just really, I guess he's just super comfortable on this hero, and even with all the stuns on the side of Paranoia, he's just getting value still.
Volato deep in the back line here, kind of on a surgical strike. You can tell that they're looking for the pulse. He sticks him.
Ooh.
Stream sniping taken out of it early on, and there's a big stun and a big source of healing taken out. And they're trapped now in this garage, and that could be bad business. It's gonna be difficult to challenge them while they're holding up in there. Dinks will try it. Dinks goes. Dinks minefields inside the garage. Corbot is taken out. Dinks comes swinging back in again. Absolute chaos, murder, bloodshed. And a bomb as well.
Yeah, that was more of a tactical remech right there from Vesmo. That's what I was thinking. They would either use that Wrecking Ball ultimate or the self-destruct from Vesmo to push them either in or keep them in or push them out of that little room there. But in the end, they just used the Wrecking Ball and got that pick, and then they just collapsed in on them because they couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, indeed, it was a good pick right there. Absolute Zero taking some shots in the back line, really struggling to get forward. They've only got 25 seconds on the clock. The pressure heating up here. Make it 20 seconds now. They're rotating to a different high ground position. They've not tried this one before. It's only taken them 4 minutes to think about moving to the other side of the map. The turret is down. High Noon coming out. He's booped again. They just stop the wrecking ball this time. Dinks does die on the backside of that, but the window coming out fast and furious on the other side. They've got a tactical visor going through. It burns down that shield right away. Soldier trying to hold on to the high ground will just make it out of the gravitic flux. They've got some presence on point here, running around a little bit of a cat and mouse game there on the high ground, but Angel Volado just cleaning up on the point, the exterminator all night long with this hit scan. The fight still continuing to go tier. I think they held it.
Oh, yeah,
wow, what a defense from Supreme, making a statement there on map number 3.
Yeah, it was really nice to see from Supreme, especially with Angel Volado and Only Dinks here coming back after a shaky map 2, looking as strong as they did on map 1, and maybe in the case of Only Dinks here, stronger with that playing into all those stuns and getting so much value still with that wrecking ball.
Yeah, seriously, that was something to be seen. Dinks, I mean, we were just talking about how Dinks was struggling so much with that wrecking ball, but honestly, Joker, they were playing into his hands by playing that high ground on the top left and just getting escorted basically into the bay over and over again.
Yeah, and you've got to, I think, what's the saying? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. What is it? Is I know what the saying.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I do believe is the saying.
Yeah, that is indeed, and I think it's really that it is shame on them for keep on going up onto that, keep on trying that high ground there, and
you get conflicting lessons though. Because you got the little engine that could, which is just keep puffing, and then on the other side you have, shame on, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. We're getting mixed messages in our parables right there. Parables. I don't know what those are. Lessons, something
like that. But it seems they learned from their past mistakes, and they're not holding left side high ground on for the side of Paranoia here, or right side if you were the defenders. Or no, it's left side for the defenders. I don't know my directions.
The lefts and the rights are the perennial problem of Overwatch players everywhere. To be honest, considering the number of times a Ryan has said everybody go left, and then he goes
right. Oh, but Angel Volado, first pick.
Volado getting the early pick there. That was a good shot on Zakero. They'll continue to fight just around the back of the point. They force the double shield down. Somebody's got to touch. Okay, there it is. Oh no, Trevor's destroyed. There's nobody touching. What's going on? Somebody has to get back on. Sigma will jump in there at the very last second. Corbot trying to keep it alive, but only Dinks here farming the team. And it's just a complete stomp, a beatdown, a brutality from Supreme to take them through.
Wow. And it was really just, again, it was another play by that wrecking ball. Only Dinks here for the side of Supreme. They booped him off the high ground, and then the entire team just collapsed right onto the big people on for the side of Paranoia. They getting the healers out of the fight early, and that's what you need to do if you want to win those team fights as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that was a heady display of skill there from Supreme, if I'm being honest. I don't know if we got a host or something. It did pop up in the chat, but I'm excited to see all of you here. Thank you for joining us for Friday Night Overwatch in multi-tier tournament week 3. You're currently watching Supreme versus Paranoia. If you did bring in that host and for some reason it didn't credit you on stream, thank you so much. We really appreciate all the support we can get, and we'll hope you guys will stick out the rest of the night because it's another banger of a match coming up after this. But for now, let's talk about our next map. We're going into Rialto, and if I'm Supreme, I am not changing a single thing on that lineup.
I'm definitely not either, even though it's you can definitely see maybe a wrecking ball Roadhog composition because of those especially because of the canals on a Rialto. You can get those early picks, but I wouldn't change a thing. That this wrecking ball diva composition that Supreme's been running all night, it's been working wonders for them. And I wouldn't see any swaps coming out. Angel Volado could either run that Tracer or that Ashe either way, and they probably get value. But it's going to be interesting to see what Paranoia runs here, as they're down. This is match point here.
Yeah. This is very much it. This is your back's to the wall here. Yeah. If you're Paranoia, you got to find some of that Icon Wall magic and bring that bubbling back up to the surface.
Yeah. As you've gotta dig deep here, and this is where the best teams are forged, backs against the wall. You saw it with the Cavs in 2016, down 3-1, and they come back in the series. But are we going to see a miracle run from Paranoia? Or are we just going to see Supreme stand Supreme?
Yeah, I think we're building towards Supreme staying Supreme. If I was a betting man, again, no spoilers because I haven't actually watched any of this. I have no idea. We have no idea what's going on, even though this is being broadcast off codes. But let's hop into Rialto. Let's take a little trip to Italy and see what we got going here.
You know, I think it's better that way. Not knowing what happens, it kind of ruins the.
Yeah, spoiler free. Spoiler free.
Ruins the stream if it's it ruins the cast for if you already know what's gonna happen.
Well, then we would have to pretend like we didn't know what was gonna happen. It's really hard. It'd be like hiding a surprise present. Like we'd want to tell you, but I mean we obviously couldn't.
Yeah. Ooh, and we're gonna be seeing Zakero on this Bastion as of right now.
Oh, he's serious about it too.
Yeah. We could have seen either. We could have probably seen double main tanks here, if I'm being honest, from Paranoia, but they're gonna run with the normal double shield.
Dinks gets caught out looking there on the outside edge, but Zakero on this Bastion, nothing they can do. LTS fan on the high ground, absolutely slaughtering, completely uncontested up there. There's really nothing that can get to him, and he's more than happy to just fire as many shots from the pulse rifle as he can, and a disgraceful exit there for Corbot as well, getting just sent off the back edge. Yeah, take a bow, LTS. That was some great play from the soldier.
Yeah, LTS fan getting that high ground and doing so much work with that soldier. Like I said at the beginning of that, with the new rework with how his pulse guns works, just you can get so much damage out from it. But now we're gonna be seeing the side of Paranoia opting for dive. We're gonna be seeing that Genji and Echo style dive here. It's gonna be really interesting to see. But LTS man.
Tremor just can't really make it stick. They lose Corbot early on. The attack fires are coming out from LTS. LTS surging forward. Gets some kills. James taken out of the action right away. Stream sniping burned down. The only kill of note on the other side I've wanted is brought down. And LTS, look at that tracking. Woo, way to go, boy. That's some good stuff there from the soldier. Again, soldier not even really the best hit scan right now.
Yeah, definitely not. It's got to still probably be Ashe or McCree. Ashe is just so versatile. Even though they got rid of those some of that damage from Dynamite, you still gotta like it. But it is. Oh my god, my stream's all fuzzy and stuff. I can't see the names right now.
Goes out. Absolute Zero goes down as well on the Genji. Paranoia, maybe feeling the paranoia creeping in here a little bit. I'm not sure what happened with Corbot. Got ejected out of the mech and into the water. And what a strange series of events. I really do think that only Dinks here got stunned in midair by stream sniping. Is that right?
I think that's what happened as stream sniping went for a reset, and I think he stunned him, and then he couldn't use that any more momentum to get back onto the solid ground.
Oh, some Predator-esque, you're coming with me. That sort of action there from stream sniping. They'll actually use the Dragon's point blank. Oh, Volato's got targets for days. He's going to section off the Brigida on the left-hand side as well. Volato not stopping, unceasing Hanzo action right there. We'll take him down. One immortality field, all that stands between James and death. They do actually manage to get the kill in there. Absolute Zero will stop the Hanzo rampage, but only for a second before Parrish gets the res. Paranoia looks like they're getting full health at the spawn doors on Rialto, and it is painful to see.
As we're gonna be seeing the first time, we're gonna be seeing Hanzo for the first time, and one of my favorite DPS. If I'm being honest, Angel Volato using it to a T, getting a nice pick with the Dragons that last team fight, and then a nice headshot kill.
Dinks getting a big pick there early on. Stream sniping is taken out to a stun completely off the field here for handling Dinks on that ball. LTS is sitting on yet another attack visor. Else on both sides, you have to expect that there's some stuff that's got to come out from Paranoia here. They've got to make something happen. They have a blade, nothing really to back it up. They're just dancing around here on the high ground, looking for an opportunity to get started. The duplicate comes in early on. That's Zakero duplicating the ball, getting in. The tack visor comes from the backside. I'm wanted, no pressure at all. Look at this, Zenyatta just slinging the orbs there from the back line. The early trick going in on Tremor. They're still fighting. Volato, though, gets the kills. They pop the Transcendence. The window comes out. The Dragon, it's an ult fiesta. But it's not enough for the attackers, and Paranoia will will not complete first point on Rialto, and that is a grim sight for any Overwatch player.
Definitely. I've been here before. I've been full hold on. Yeah, I've been full hold on this map in a grand finals for CGL, and it just does so much to your mental and just booms you if you can't get that first point on Rialto. And now it's really just an easy. It seems to be really easy for Supreme just to get this this game finished and in the win column for them here.
I mean, you say that, but then again, to the credit of Supreme, right? To the credit of Supreme, or to the credit of Paranoia, I should say, we saw them on Eichenwald in a similarly, not quite this grim, but a similarly grim situation, and they did manage to pull out a really convincing defense with their double shield. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that again, Joker. They've not, that bit of containment that we saw on Dinks on Eichenwald is looking more like a brief spike rather than the kind of like consistent performance.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think it might have just been an off map for Dinks, and maybe just been Eichenwald for him. Maybe he's just not a good ball player on Eichenwald, but the stuns haven't seemed to matter, and now they're going to be running. Now they're going to be running hardcore Hammond. Hammond, anti-Hammond, as they're going to be running the Sombra.
Sombra as well. Okay, so that's just for those of you playing along at home. What is that? That's Korban with the Rock. We've got the McCree Flash. We've got the Brigida Shield. We have the Hack from Zakero, and potentially Tremor with a pull as well. All there basically to stop Dinks from getting in behind them and rolling them off that high ground. But they are giving up a ton of ground here, holding that kind of balcony position. Eventually they should, I think, be able to just contest the car. Actually, no, they're going to drop Korban, though. Gets killed on the rotation. Can't lose their Sigma there. That's an absolute tragedy.
Yeah, that just
looked down as well.
That looked like an amazing volley coming out from I'm Wanted, as Angel Volato as well getting in on the kill feed, and then it's another that you saw that flick right there from him, and it's another kill from Angel Volato. Oh my goodness! If it wasn't, oh my
chases the ball off the edge of the map as well.
That's
unstoppable.
And it's just the supports right there taking the point all the way to where they need to go, and that's
put it in the win column.
That's all they go. There's Supreme standing tall and getting that 3-1 victory over Paranoia.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Supreme comes out, and, well, they reign supreme in that match. Now we're going to throw it over to a desk segment. That's actually just going to be Joker. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, then we're going to be back with the deck segment, and then we're going to be moving on to our final match of the night, brought to you by NSB United and Unicorn, and that will be Nemesis versus Dystopia, coming to you from the Xbox EU Tier 3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Friday Night Overwatch here at the Console Gaming League. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So many of you in the chat. We appreciated you guys turning out there. Hopefully you enjoyed that last match, PS4 Tier 6, Supreme versus Paranoia. I'm Korbeck, joined here on the desk by NSB United and Joker's Ransom. NSB, we'll start with you because you were our kind of impartial observer. Joker and I were in there casting that one. Thoughts on that match? An MVP pick, even?
Well, MVP, I can't say anything on that yet. That was a crazy match. You saw the ball coming out there in so many of the maps, getting bullied on Eichenwald, like you guys said, but just sort of dominating the rest of the match. And like I said before in our death segment before the match, the adaptability of the teams really mattered in that one. And you could see that you've got just the whole side of Paranoia not really adapting at all. Like, they played the double shield on Volskaya and went up that high ground and got booped off. I think there were at least like 3 or 4 boop kills in the kill feed from Only Dinks, and then you see them come out on Rialto with double shields, and it took them 2 minutes to swap off that. On the other hand, the adaptability was really great. They knew when to swap off the ball when it wasn't working. They knew when to run different rotations, run different support lines, and that really put them up with the edge, and it gave them those clean last 2 maps.
Well, that's a very fair analysis. I mean, I think you hit all the key points right there. Kind of the repetition of disaster on Volskaya is something that if they're watching that VOD back, they're probably kicking themselves about. But Joker, I mean, you were calling the game with me. Do you have an MVP pick as somebody you particularly single out?
Well, I mean, if it wasn't for even though the Eichenwald map was kind of like rough for him, I've got to go with Only Dinks here. It just makes sense. If you look at Paranoia, that entire match, they're set on trying to get him out of his groove, and they couldn't do that with all the anti-him and tech they had out on their side. They had Brigitte Bash and Flail. They had McCree Stun. They had Orisa Halt. They had Sigma Rock, and then at the end they had Sombra Hack, and they couldn't stop Only Dinks here.
Yeah.
If that's not the sign of a sign of MVP player, I don't know what is. And
yeah, I agree with you actually on that one. I think Joker 100%. If I was going to pick one, it would be him as well. I mean, you had that moment on Eichenwald where he was getting kind of pressured, kind of not having a very good map. But in general, he was the engine, right, that drove Supreme forward. They were basing their plays off of him every time he usually was the one who initiated the fights. He was spreading the enemy out, allowing the DPS to get those picks. A masterful performance actually from Dinks there a lot of the time. But all right, looking at that map, let's transition away. Supreme kind of comes in, stomps Paranoia, asserts their superiority, I guess, in the PS4 top T6 arena. We're looking ahead to a match here between Nemesis and Dystopia. So 2 T3 EU Xbox teams, which admittedly is not a division that we get to see very often. Perhaps one of the benefits of having replay codes is that we can actually get EU games broadcasted for our NA audience for what might be the very first time. But NSB, I know that you kind of wrote our playbook, or our kind of prep book here for tonight. So what any interesting observations you have about these teams as we get started?
Well, the first thing I would say just right off the bat is that these two teams, this is actually their rematch of a Week 2 game that was won by Nemesis in a reverse sweep. So both of these teams coming off of a match just like 5 or 6 days ago, and they're playing again. And this one is going to mean even more than the last one because it has even more standings implications. Dystopia, they did lose that one match, but if they win this one, then they're propelled into a great spot for potential playoffs way later in the season. And if Nemesis wins this one, it keeps them undefeated, and it maybe even propels them into the #1 slot. So you've got, on one hand, Dystopia looking for revenge, Nemesis looking to keep that undefeated record, and it's just going to be a great rematch series.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an absolute kind of grudge match there, coming in. They literally had a week. I guess they've had a week to prepare as well. But Joker, I think we talked a little bit before this, or was in kind of our research, that Dystopia is a team that was built like a month before the CGL tournament started, right? Like they're freshly made. Do you think that's going to impact their performance at all tonight?
I mean, like it can really affect things, as you know, it's all about synergy, especially in the lower tiers like this. You need that synergy to you need synergy to do well. As we see teams that are together for a while are usually a lot better than just teams that are brought together willy-nilly at the last minute. And it can matter in like the long run, but if they have enough talent, it could outweigh the chemistry for this moment in time. But right, if Nemesis has that synergy, that could be the deciding factor in this.
There you go.
And
I mean,
speaking of talents, you've got
Go for it.
Mythic 2920. That is a player that I just want to throw out. You will want to watch. I believe they did play in CGL last season, if I remember my streams from many months ago correctly. But I know that player is going to come in and pop off. Definitely a Star Tracer and Ashe, two heroes that are very important right now. You've got the Tracer being more effective in lower tiers if you can play her right, because it's a hero that's just built to dissect the opposition. And then there's the Ashe, which of course is just a really strong hero, no matter how much she is nerfed.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember a time when nobody even wanted to touch Ashe. Nobody
Yeah, I
liked her.
know.
Everybody hated her. They never wanted to play her. She was the worst hit scan. Oh my god, why was she added to the game? Complete waste of space. Now you can't get away from her. But you know, it's interesting that you bring that up, NSB. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these teams are not playing on they're playing on the old patch, right? They're not playing on the kind of Rhine buff patch, right?
Yeah, they're still on the patch where double shield is a bit more of the meta. You saw a lot of ball in our last match, and I think that was, of course, comfort picks. But double shield should be a prevalent composition. But again, we are in a sort of diamond low masters range, so I imagine a lot of these players specialize in Reinhardt as their main tanks.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fair to say that you see a lot of Reinhardt play in the tier 3 and the lower tiers in general, right? Reinhardt gets a lot of play, and I think there are a lot of very happy lower tier players.
Yeah.
I know the team that I coach in tier 2, kind of the plat range, that main tank player was so happy when those Rhine changes came through, but unfortunately, maybe not in time for this particular matchup. It could provide us with some interesting gameplay nonetheless. I guess now maybe it makes sense to ask NSB. We'll start with you. How do you think this one goes?
I honestly think that this is going to be a close one. It was a reverse sweep last time these two teams played, so I think Dystopia probably has the advantage in just that they want revenge, and they want this more probably than Nemesis. So I think if I would have to give an edge, it would be to Dystopia, but solely due to the fact that they want that revenge, and they also have that star player of Mythic, who I'm almost certain that they are going to pop off.
I cannot help but say before we go to you, Choke, I love so much that Dystopia is found a nemesis in Team Nemesis. Like, they want revenge on Nemesis. It's very poetic. It's George Lucas said about the Star Wars. It all rhymes, you know. It all works together. But Joker, how do you think this one's gonna go?
Well, like NSB said, Dystopia really wants that win against Team Nemesis here. But if it's either way, it's going to be a very close map, and I could see it going all 5 maps in the end. But I'm gonna have to go with the team that's already beat them. I've got to go with Nemesis here for the side of for this game 2 matchup win, probably 3-2.
Yeah, fair enough. I would say probably I'm leaning toward. Part of something that I don't think we've really talked about yet in this segment is the idea of prep, right? And it's easy for higher level players. It's easy for the casual viewer. I mean, obviously this is a semi-pro, this is a casual league, right? For a lot of these people, it's easy for you to look past the fact that a lot of teams do actually put a lot of thought into what they're going to run, even at the diamond level. Like, there is a lot of planning that goes. It might not be the best planning in the world, but there's a lot of planning that goes into it. Surely, NSB, you think that there's got to be an impact there, right? From them having played each other just last week?
Yeah, and I think that the preparation, again, it would probably play into Dystopia's hands, since they're most likely prepping a small bit more. I imagine both of these teams really want the win in this rematch, but you sort of have to give that, like, prep factor and the revenge factor to Dystopia. But another thing I would like to note coming into this tier 3 match is that the off tanks are definitely going to get a lot of value, and on our little info sheet that we put together before the game, both off tanks are listed as the players that will pop off for both of these teams. And you've got O Anathema on one side, and then you've got JMD on the other side, and it's going to be a bit of a Diva versus Zarya specialist war. And then they've also got the rotations with Elbel coming in on the Sigma and Zarya for Nemesis. But all three of those off tanks, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of them at the kill feed, and I'm sure we're going to see some huge plays.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Some analysis there for you of this upcoming T3 EU match. It's going to be Nemesis versus Dystopia. It's a grudge match. It's a recent grudge match. They literally have played each other within the last week. We're going to take a quick intermission here. We're just trying to work out some technical issues involving a camera on the back end. And then we're going to throw it over to NSB United and his casting partner, Unicorn, to bring you that last game. Please stick with us here on Friday Night Overwatch.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Friday Night Overwatch here at the Console Gaming League. Today, we are bringing you the second match of the night. It's going to be Dystopia Tier 3 versus Nemesis, again, in this Xbox Tier 3 EU scene. I am NSB. I'm sure I am a familiar face by now on the stream, as I've been on the desk a few times, but I have a newer face with me. It's Unicorn joining me for the cast tonight. How are you doing?
NSB, I'm doing well. How are you, man? Great game that we just watched. I saw you on the desk, absolutely killing it as always. Shout out to Korbeck and Joker for doing their part as well. But a good game, especially taking it from Paranoia there. Such a good team that you and I had the opportunity to cast earlier. So
yeah, it was just a pure show of dominance from a top team in Supreme, taking down Paranoia. But enough about the past. We are going straight into our next matchup. We've got Dystopia Tier 3 actually losing out in a previous match against Nemesis. And they did play just a week ago in week 2. These two teams met. It was a reverse sweep by Nemesis, so I'm sure Dystopia is out for revenge. And what are the players that can bring that revenge into fruition?
Well, I mean, you've got to assume they are absolutely seeking revenge, especially after a reverse sweep. I mean, for the MVP players for Dystopia, what we're looking at is Mythic and JMD, seeing if they can pop off, really get some kills, support their teammates, and go forward and take this victory from the side of Nemesis. I've got to assume this has created a bit of a rivalry here, so hopefully we can see that, as you mentioned, come to fruition as we jump into these maps. And, as I heard was previously mentioned from the stream, this is pre-patch. So we're talking no Rhine buffs, we're talking no BAP nerfs, so maybe we see some double shield here in T3, or since we are in T3, maybe we just see him brawl it out and go for those comfort picks. What do you think?
I think we're going to see a lot of Rhine, as the main tanks definitely do prefer that hero. But taking a look at our map pool here again for week 3, we're going to be starting you guys off on Ilias, then taking it to the hybrid section of Eichenwald, and then a trip to cold Russia where we give you Volskaya Industries, rounded out with Rialto and a potential tiebreaker of Nepal if we do go that far. And our last series only made it 4 maps. We'll see if we get that elusive 5-map series here in this next game, but we should be ready to roll on Ilias. Anything you'd like to mention before we head in?
I'm ready to jump in. I mean, we're watching some teams from over the pond, some EU T3 from Xbox. I'm excited to see what they have to offer. Let's jump right in.
And straight as we load up into the match, we're going to be going on to the Ilias well. It's definitely a map where you can see a lot of boops, and I imagine these teams will be going for that, as you do see JMD on the Hog. You've also got Loki the Gamer from Nemesis looking for that Primal Rage boop. But with these DPS matchups, it's very versatile. You've got a Sombra Tracer on one end and a Tracer Soldier on the other from Dystopia.
Yeah, and look at the way that this that Mythic wants to bounce around this Tracer here. I'm looking to see him go left side and really force a distraction. Almost gets absolutely demolished there by the enemy Tracer, but we're going to jump on board with Catboy. Walk you through what he needs to do throughout this map.
Definitely just needs to stay alive. He's got the pocket from the Mercy X-Bron, and with that extra damage boost, you're going to see tons of damage poured out. There goes the mech of Elbel, and it's going to be very tough without that defense matrix to negate this hook damage. You do see Elbel actually get hooked in and capitalized upon. You do have the boop to trade back JMD, a revenge kill there, but it's not going to mean much, as Dystopia have already gained control of this objective, and they will send Nemesis packing with that kill onto Loki.
and Dystopia take the point in dominating fashion. That it looked really good even after the boop came in from Muzza. Looks like Savage just wants to try and get some EMP charge, able to translocate perfectly backwards. Doing pretty well on the EMP here, 65%. There's a few things that I want to see this paired with. If anything, at this point with the low ult charge, it's just a speed boost into this Orisa to get her out of there. But meanwhile, there's some picks going down on the front line.
Mythic has this pulse bomb ready to go. A perfect pull, and the pulse bomb follows it up. That's 2 for Mythic, going to follow it up onto Muzza, who cannot wall ride away. Now takes it over to Loki the Gamer, who falls as well. Avixia trying to trade it back, does get the melee kill, but is also taken out by Mythic, who's almost accrued a team kill at this point. Dystopia do get past that 50% mark.
I mean, you've got to give it to the communication from Dystopia here. Zedfel and Mythic communicating that halt pulse bomb. I mean, as the halt was going off, the pulse bomb came, so they were definitely in communication of where that was going to end from. Absolutely perfectly well played.
Yeah, and of course we see the replay of that, as it was just an absolutely beautiful play there from Mythic. But as we go back to our live match, you did see the EMP, but not much has come out of it so far on the side of Nemesis. You're going to have Catboy trying to get back in this one with the tactical visor, just decides he's going to Helix Rocket too. That's the achievement if you don't have it already there for the Gamer. A nice pixel spray to add to your collection. And some ults coming online for Nemesis, but Dystopia have managed theirs very well, dropping in the pulse bomb for that late kill.
And look at these stagger kills. Talking about late kills, Loki forced to throw the whole hog out here on point. He actually does find the Orisa. This could work out for the side of Nemesis. What I thought was a stagger kill is going to turn into a whole nother fight.
Elbel does get another boop, actually swings back. That's a nice tech there from the Wrecking Ball, but the Resurrect brings Mythic back into the fight. And if we've seen anything from this Tracer so far, that means that they can turn this one and finally end this overtime. However, the hack comes through. You've got the sound barrier onto 3. That's just going to sustain these supports for even longer. Savage is booped into the well, but has that translocator back out. But Zedfel gets the pile driver kill. Now you've got the hook coming in from JMD, who has arrived back on this Roadhog. You're going to have dueling hooks on the other side as Mythic goes down as well. This Coalescence is just going to be a last-ditch attempt to still get Nemesis back in this fight. And it looks like they're trading out a lot of kills. However, the res comes in at such a great time here. It brings Catboy back into the fight. He has a tactical visor. Those health bars plummet, and that is going to be it here on the well. It was 100-0, but Nemesis definitely put up a challenge for Dystopia.
They did, but man, Dystopia looked good. Even after the whole hog came in, they were able to stagger back on the side of Nemesis, but the players of Dystopia just really take their time on point, find their natural structures to hide behind, keep dancing in the time frame they have to work with while their teammates are heading back from spawn. They end up never losing point once and end up turning the fight around afterwards. All started with that hook onto the Sombra player from Savage. I mean, really well played there, especially for Well, which can be a chaotic map. It looks like we're hopping into, I believe it's Ruins at this point, and I'm hoping to see some more Roadhog from both sides. Or excuse me, we're on Lighthouse. Yeah, I pulled a Joker. I said the map wrong. I mean, he cursed me.
So we do have the Reinhardts coming out, and we also still have Mythic on the Tracer, but he's going to run into Avixia, who's still on this McCree, as well as Savage on the Mei. And I think that's going to be a lot of trouble, but speaking of trouble, as Moira is in trouble as Charlie Gold barely gets out of it alive. Mythic is going to settle with 40 ult charge already on the Pulse Bomb. But now it looks like Nemesis is ready to engage. Those health bars are back up to full, and they already have an engage kill there onto Catboy, who won't be building towards that EMP. Elbel follows it up onto Zedfel, gets that main tank out of the fight, and it's just cleanup from here. Nemesis look like they are going to get the first capture percentage on Lighthouse.
Yeah, Nemesis take it easily there, just focusing that main tank of Zedfel as he walks forward. The Loki the Gamer ends up walking forward as well, just gets the outswing. Once again, we are pre-patched, that 75 damage still packs a mean punch when you've got the entire team assisting you, especially with that Mei wall. They've got a Coalescence early here, and I just want to see them use it and wrap up this fight before it even starts.
Yeah, they definitely need to use it early, and that's exactly what's going to happen because Mythic has that Pulse Bomb ready to go, drops it in, gets Avixia. However, before falling, Avixia does take out that main tank yet again. Zedfel removed from the fight means that Nemesis do have an easy time with the cleanup. Loki could get greedy and go for the aggressive shatter here, but I think they just want to play it safe.
Yeah, I think what they want to do here is just stage a Vixia high ground, wait for this high noon here if they can. They've got a D.Va that they can send up there as well to really peel for him, but instead he wants to take an off angle here. Nope, just chooses to get back with his team and play it safe on point. I don't hate the idea as long as they can spam shield here.
Oh, it's a lot of freeze. The wall separates off Dystopia, and there is one kill from the Deadeye. JMD is gone. Can't build towards that Graviton Surge. However, Zedfeld does survive more than a few seconds in this fight and does get a hammer kill. Catboy and Mythic are going to get those last few picks. Finally, they do flip it back, and Dystopia are going to work their way towards that 60% mark that Nemesis already does have.
Yeah, Dystopia have a lot of room, or excuse me, a lot of time to make up here, but a lot of room to work with as far as ultimates are concerned. They have a Shatter. All they have to do is outplay the Blizzard here with the bubbles from JMD. The potential is definitely there to do it, but first, I mean, Nemesis have to get to point and deal with Mythic. I mean, he is a final boss right now, even with this 150 health, but there's the Pulse Bomb getting eaten.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play from Elbel eating the Pulse Bomb. However, the Shatter is huge. Avixia gets one, though, on the return end, and it looks like Nemesis are going to be pushing through. They have separated out the support and the Hanzo here, and it looks like Loki will settle for the Fire Strike just to go back and help his team capture this objective. That's definitely where you don't want to be if you are Zedfel, and he will be taken back to spawn as Nemesis do regain this objective control very quickly.
They do, and on the back of Elbel there, takes the momentum and just hands it to Nemesis after eating that Pulse Bomb, then matrixing forward so that our Mei from Savage can just throw that Blizzard in, ends up getting picks onto the Hanzo from the side of Dystopia on Catboy, and ends up turning that fight around, and now they're going to have to play around to grab, though, as it comes to the front of the wall. Really smart play there.
And the Dragon sent through, however, the Sound Barrier counters is out. A perfect beat drop from Muzza, and it looks like the Shatter is going to be just enough. Loki, the gamer, does fall. However, the damage has been done. It looks like Charlie is going to barely survive that Pulse Bomb. Avixia in the back end drops the Deadeye, is killed off by Mythic, who is still a fly in the backside of Nemesis. However, I think they do have the Fly Swatter ready to go, as Mythic is just 9 health. Has a dream of maybe contesting this objective, but I think we're going to see this. Yeah, I think it's going to be the capture done here. Nemesis definitely putting on a show here on this Brawl comp. I think if they take it into Ruins, they could just win out this map.
Yeah, I think if we go to Ruins, I think Mythic's going to have a lot more room with the angles that he can take and the nuisance that he wants to be. Lighthouse a little bit more closed off with its choke points. Most of the fighting happens either right there in front of the point or on the point itself. Definitely easy to get caught by a Rhinehammer if you are that Tracer from Mythic, but has a lot more room on Ruins to work with here. I think we'll see a lot more from him, and look at that switch. You see Catboy up for the Mei. Looks like he's had enough of Savage Brit doing it himself, and he's going to try and match it here.
Yeah, the Mei duel is definitely going to be huge, but it looks like they're rolling out with a Sigma Hog comp. It's definitely going to be tough to go up against Nemesis's Brawl here. If they can bring it close, get the hacks, put Avixia in the spots where he wants to be, then they can win pretty quickly on this first engage, and that's exactly what they want. However, they do have to deal with the damage boosted Widow. Mythic ready to go. However, there is a Sombra in the backline. Savage is already way back here, but he gets shot in the head, sent back to spawn. Now Nemesis need to engage, and they need to do it quickly. However, they're just forced back by the pressure offered from this Roadhog and the accretion disc of Zedfel's Sigma. Mythic with another headshot, and there goes Loki the gamer. It's going to be very tough for Avixia to bring it back. However, he does get the headshot onto JMD. Elbel is going to follow it up with 2, and Nemesis actually clean up this fight. Mythic is gone, and they do have first percentage yet again.
Elbel gets the charge there on the Zarya, and it's strange because it's where Dystopia wanted to fight. They wanted to fight in the middle of the point so they could grant Mythic that line of sight with that Widow. They wanted to take them out of that left room, but instead, Nemesis end up fragging out and turning it around in their favor off of what I believe was Elbel's charge on that Zarya. Absolutely devastating.
Looks like Dystopia are going to move forward. It's very tough to move into this Brawl. However, they are actually taking it slow. If I was Nemesis, I would just pop the Coalescence and go straight in. It looks like they are going to pop it more defensively, as Zedfel is actually hacked out of the Gravitic Flux. A huge play there from Savage, who is building closer and closer to that EM. Mythic still up on the high ground, has Infrasight ready to go. Doesn't need it, though, to kill off that Lucio. Charging up to the beat was Muzzy. and it looks like Elbel might be forced to use this Graviton Surge, but they might just stagger back to point. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Nemesis most likely just try and get away with a few extra percentage.
Yeah, definitely, and I like the way that even though they lose that fight, they lose it as slowly as possible, and you see that even with Muzza staggering as long as he can on that Lucio there. Even when you know the fight's not going in your favor, live as long as you can, get every second possible, because we both know when it's 99-99, it's going to matter the most there. And now you see Mythic up here has a good vantage point. I want to see him do more on this Widow. He's finding the picks, but man, it's hard dealing with Savage Brit on this Sombra constantly in his face.
And yeah, speaking of that, Sombra EMP is charging up. It's inevitable that all of those abilities are going to be gone. They have to use those cooldowns now or never. It looks like the hack doesn't come through onto Zedfel the Sigma, so that guy will survive just a bit longer. The Nano Tac Visor ready to go if they choose to use it. Dystopia just playing a bit far back, but this aggressive play, the Graviton Surge into a pin all the way across the objective, completely uncontested, is Loki the Gamer. Catboy will just have to run away, maybe even uses the Tactical Visor as they do get some counter picks. The Resurrect in a inexplicable location there does bring the one-ved man back into the fight, and now the Nano Boost is coming through. Nemesis, oh, your tanks are so low. Someone please heal them, but there's no one left to contest. It looks like Dystopia will claim the lead in terms of percentage.
And once again, but just on the opposite side, look how slowly they win that fight for the sake of staggers onto Nemesis so they can generate as much time as well. Letting those tanks live for as long as possible on that point bought them so much time. As you watch Nemesis right now, just kind of hanging around waiting for those tanks to spawn.
Do have a lot of ultimates ready to go. Elbel is the only one without that ultimate, as they have swapped over on to the D.Va. I think an early Infrasight would be nice if Mythic has it ready to go, but it looks like now Nemesis is going to take the initiative to get onto the objective. Avixia headshot out of the Death Blossom, but already claims one. It's another nice headshot onto the Coalescence there, but Mythic just not doing quite enough to keep Dystopia in that fight. It looks like they will gain up to 96 though.
Yeah, Nemesis take it. The side of Dystopia has a flux to work with. Everything else besides that Valk is a little far away here. Hopefully they can get the pocket onto Catboy, try and get this visor built up as quickly as possible, because they're going to need it against this Shatter and a beat drop.
Loki the Gamer ready to go with that Shatter like you mentioned, but I think it's all up to Zedfel to see if this Flux can land, and it needs to land big. However, they are pushing forward. They have the hack onto Zedfel, so now it's just time for this Shatter to come through. Not using it quite yet. They do have the Sound Barrier to counter out that Flux. Mythic already with a pick in this fight, but Avixia had one earlier on the Ninja. The pin is going to come through from Loki. That gets Zedfel out of the fight, and Avixia still doing work. It's just a lone Tactical Visor on the objective, but that's not going to be enough to keep this overtime wick burning. And it looks like the sun will set on Ilias with Nemesis on top.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it. I mean, JMD wants to get these last second staggers as long as possible, but after that hack, it's not going to matter much, as you're absolutely correct. Nemesis, not easily, but they do take Ilios, and from what I'm seeing here, it looks like we're seeing, if I could be frank, more mechanical skill from the side of Dystopia with their DPS, but a lot more synergy and organization and communication from the way of Nemesis and how they're pulling out these fights, channeling EMP with the Death Blossom, so on and so forth. These ultimates just seem to be almost rehearsed, if that makes sense. You know, definitely planned out, strategically placed, you know, in spots where their tanks and their DPS can follow up, and I think that's what we've seen so far.
Yeah, exactly. You know that Dystopia is a team that was just recently built, just about a month before the CGL season, actually, maybe a month or two. So they haven't had that extra time to scrim and prepare for this match like maybe Nemesis has, as a team that might have a bit longer of a history together. And you've got just complete synergy, like you mentioned, from that squad. And even though Mythic is popping off, there was at least one kill each fight from the Widow there on Ruins, and then on the Tracer as well in those different maps. I'm sure you're going to see that Pulse Bomb followed up with 3 extra kills on the highlight reels, but if you get on those highlight reels, you have to win those maps out when it matters, and Dystopia haven't gotten that synergy down quite yet. We'll see if they can moving into Iconbolt.
At least not so far, and like you mentioned, we'll see going into Eichenwald here. I don't want to count him out just from seeing Ilios, especially when they have that rivalry with this team. When we've seen it go to the best of 5, they definitely have it in them. We'll just have to see if on that hybrid map of Eichenwald, it's something they feel a little bit more comfortable with the picks that they have. With that Widowmaker, getting those picks every single fight doesn't quite add up to much when the frontline damage with that Reaper, with that Sombra is there, especially when hacks come in and we potentially lose a shield. Having a Widow isn't going to matter too much, or at least it's only going to matter if you can absolutely pop off every fight when those tanks have a Reaper in their face.
I don't think we'll see the Widow out on Eichenwald unless we're maybe on point B defense. Mythic might choose to go back over onto that, but I imagine we're going to see a lot of Ashe, and they have the damage boost there ready to go, as you could tell that the Mercy definitely knew what they're doing, Byron. And on Eichenwald, I think we may see double shield. We saw it out from Paranoia in our previous match before tonight, and then of course there was the outlier of the Wrecking Ball. But we could see Wrecking Ball again here as we go into Eichenwald, but it looks like on those main tanks, again, you have Nemesis and Dystopia opting for this Brawl composition.
Yeah, and from what you see from both sides, a lot more of defensive brawl from the side of Nemesis here. I'm not a huge fan of the May Reaper pick. I think it can work, but when you're so far forward and so far away from your spawn, and that attacking side from Dystopia is right there, they lose one fight. Well, it's easy enough to switch to double bird because now I know what I'm up against, and there's nothing but pronounce that for me. Anathema, is that right?
No clue. And it
okay,
looks
cool.
like
Right.
we're gonna see the anti-grenade into the backline, followed up with the May wall there. Knight Assailant does get one before falling in. Not having that Reinhardt late in the fight isn't going to mean too much when you just have a avalanche of picks. You see another anti-grenade landing true there onto the support line, getting the pick that time, and already a bit of time bled off the clock, but as quick as these fights go, I think Dystopia have a lot of chances to get this point A caps.
Yeah, they have a lot of chances, but what they also have a lot of opportunities for is to recognize when a switch is needed, and so far I'm surprised we don't have someone in the air though, but there goes Catboy with a quick pick onto Hema. Hey, Hema, the Ana.
And it looks like they will follow that up with a bit of aggression. Knight Assailant again has so much damage poured onto that shield, is just forced back all the way into the room as again another pick comes through. Now Elsa is just going to move forward and swing on this Reinhardt. That's all that they can really do to secure these last few kills. A fire strike down the hallway will send Nemesis packing as they do claim that first objective.
Yeah, Nemesis coming up here with a Death Blossom. They've got it in the oven. Savage Bird is just about ready with that Blizzard from the May. And once again, Mythic and Catboy here on their respective Hanzo Sombras. I want to see them in the air. So far it's working though, but Mythic falling quickly there. That's an easy caster curse as the Protected comes out and tries to save the Reinhardt. But look at that Shatter.
Yeah, the Shatter knocks down 4, the kills come through, and the EMP even on the back end. You're going to pair it with the Coalescence just for absolute devastation as Dystopia moves forward. It's a pretty big time bank, and you do see a Vixia get one late kill, but that doesn't matter too much as they will drop down and actually get out of this one alive, I think, which is very interesting. JMD does find them out, though, and it looks like they may go for the teleport, falling off the map, and that's a bit of unluckers there in the chat for your Reaper player. And now, even though you have so many ultimates, you're going to have to wait if you're Nemesis.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to wait for the Death Blossom here. That's what's going to matter most in this fight, just to pair it with that Blizzard, unless they want to get the Shatter out from Knight Assailant so he can start building it up quickly. But look at Mythic just trying to find a face to get an arrow into in that choke. But instead, the Nemesis is going to offer the high ground, immediately get grabbed off. I'm not sure I would have used a beat drop there. There's not enough hope, but here comes the Vixie with the Death Blossom.
Yeah, actually booped away, and Mythic somehow drops off the map with that Dragon Strike ready to go. However, the freeze is there. Savage with so much value here on this May, and it looks like they will be going for the freeze onto the main tank as well. Elsa with a nice 180, but doesn't land the Shatter, as now the Lucio duel is won with the boop. Charlie falls, and this could actually work as Mythic uses the Dragon from spawn and actually gets a pair of kills. This is absolutely a crazy fight. It looks like it's going to come down to the superior poke and superior sustain that the offense has. However, this bomb could put Nemesis back in it for a stall.
I'll tell you what, I think the one Vegman has gotten 3 boops within the last 30 seconds on this bridge. An absolute nemesis to nemesis here as he opts for that Lucio. Here comes the Coalescence, immediately shattered out by Nidasailing. He's going to try and walk forward, but he's got an EMP to walk forward into. Falls extremely low, does end up falling as well to Mythic. Mythic finds another one onto Charlie, and it looks like Dystopia are just a couple kills from cleaning this up as the D.Va gets D-Mec'd as well.
And another pair of kills from Mythic there, as Avixia got 2, but it wasn't enough. You're actually going to see the fade onto Cart there just for a final contest, but 4 minutes in the time bank means Dystopia can move forward with a lot of power, and they do have that stagger onto the Moira as well, so that's going to give them this first corner for free.
Yeah, I want to see Mythic just start throwing these dragons off cooldown. He's getting them so quickly, finding a ton of shots, especially with those storm arrows into the body of the Reinhardt, even some of these picks. As soon as Matrix is down, just like that situation, I just want him to throw those dragons. Let's just go ahead and set up and make it easy. Here they come now, speaking of, but they get eaten.
Oh, that's an absolutely huge Matrix from Anathema, and it looks like they will pop the freeze as well. Elsa's just going to drop off the map for the reset. However, Mythic has other plans, looking for the headshot, and they do find the trade. However, he is staggered out there by the Fire Strike Knight Assailant. Nemesis able to collapse onto that Hanzo, who has been causing trouble, but JMD might cause some trouble with this upcoming minefield.
Nemesis finally find an opportunity to just breathe for a second here as they're able to slow it down, get a couple seconds here on defense, but just as they find those seconds, here comes Elsa on this fight, trying to walk in with this brawl, but has to walk into a window and falls quickly because of it.
Yeah, and that's the strong Baptiste pre-patch. You see it coming into action right there as Charlie able to burst down that Reinhardt within a matter of seconds. It looks like Mythic is barely going to survive this fight, just getting the taps of heals every time that damage orb comes through. But they are ready for a pretty quick re-engage. Catboy is hacked up, so will be forced to retreat. Can't build up that EMP quite yet, but they don't need the EMP when they have a 4-man shatter. Stunned up is Elsa, and it looks like the bomb is going to go back into the backline. The shatter on the other side comes through, and it's nice play from Nemesis to just wait out those ultimates and capitalize on the back of a massive shatter the other way, actually punishing that aggression. Catboy gets an exit kill, but it's been great work from Nemesis, great adaptability so far.
Definitely, and they respond well to Elsa's shatter there. I love the ambition from Elsa, just trying to walk past the Reinhardt shield and try and get a shatter in. Ends up working out as far as putting people on the floor, but the follow-up's not quite there when the rest of your team, who aren't as healthy as you, have to walk past that same Reinhardt you did. And that ends up turning it after the bomb from Awana followed up by the shatter, but here comes a beat drop immediately followed by an EMP.
The EMP actually doesn't cancel the sound barrier like most Sombras would expect. The EMP the other way is definitely a bit more massive as it lands onto 5 players. However, again, Nemesis are able to sustain. They know how to play it safe throughout those ultimates, and somehow every single one of their players survives. Now Dystopia looking to push around this corner yet again, but the Amplification Matrix stacks a lot of damage onto that shield. Now you're going to see Elsa fall. Avixia pushing forward with the Cowboy. Knight Assailant just going for some hammer swings, and their supports might not even get out alive.
Yeah, basically just want to kill him as slowly as possible here. See if you can get this. Yeah, you get the Moira. Just try and find the D.Va. If not, yeah, we back up to corner. We're definitely fine with that. And this Sombra duel is mattering a lot. And the EMPs right now looking a lot better from Savage Brit. And that was the same Sombra that we saw, I believe, was it on, well, was he? I think he was the Sombra on Weld. So it's definitely something that they've planned for. Maybe Dystopia just trying to transition to match comps here, but Savage Bird on this Sombra is definitely looking good here.
It looks like the Deadeye coming out first. There's going to be a bomb, a shatter, and that takes out Mythic. The combo comes out early, and that's exactly what you want if you are Nemesis, staggering out these kills and saving the EMP for overtime.
I mean, yeah, we've got an EMP here, we've got a Coalescence, and a window for them to walk into. They're going to have to find something with this speed drop, but they've got to hope to wait out the EMP.
The bomb dropped in, just desperate from JMD, as it looks like they're going to struggle to touch the objective. Hacked and gotten rid of out of that mech. Anathema gets 2. Knight Assailant is going to follow it up with that kill onto the Moira. With the Coalescence, they send Dystopia packing here on point C from a 4-minute time bank to just one corner of progress completed.
Yeah, what looked to be dominant attack from Dystopia, especially after that streets phase, from those dragon kills all the way from spawn, turns into what is practically a full hold here. 4.3 once you head inside, and Nemesis turned what was looking rough into a very winnable game. As all they'll need is to push 1 meter past. And from what we saw on Ilios, they definitely have the capability to do it with that synergy we discussed.
Right as my camera seems like it's going to die, I don't think you guys are gonna see me for the next couple maps as the batteries are running quite low. But at least you'll get to hear my beautiful voice as it looks like Mythic is again on this Ashe. I think that's actually a new pick from the resident MVP DPS player, but Savage Brit again on this Sombra from the attack. They have this rushdown comp, and they've pretty much perfected it at this point. It's going to be tough for Dystopia to play this defensive rush into it and survive it all.
Yeah, they opt for the Ana Bap here, which is not only just so much heals for your tank, but throwing all those heals into your tank with the opportunity for MOs in an aggressive fashion or antis makes it really hard to work with when there's no bubbles to cleanse it from the side of Nemesis. So they definitely have a formidable support line here for the side of Dystopia, a hard ass for Nemesis to work against. But I'm not a huge fan of the Ashe Sombra here for the defense. I want some more spam for this choke, otherwise Nemesis kind of just gets to walk in free, especially when your Ryan's hacked, but you are immediately hacked following it up.
Yeah, the counter hack is huge, and now Nemesis will be punished for their mistakes in aggression. Knight Assailant was anti-grenaded, but somehow kept alive as Elsa swung forward. Now Elsa is going to be the one retreating as Dystopia, just looking for some more picks, and that's exactly what they get as Asphyxia falls. Mythic with 2, maybe even a few more as the aggression comes in turn from Dystopia. They're building to some early ultimates here after just a bit under a minute.
Yeah, from what we've seen so far, I mean, Knight Assailant just contracting his controller with a disease of drift here is as hard as he's had to mash backwards on the analog stick. This has been a rough attack for him so far. With those antis, like you mentioned, with the BAP heals, he can't quite compete with swinging onto Elsa, as Elsa is ready for a shatter here, and Knight Assailant's still about 20% off, but a couple swings could change that.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough to run into the ultimates of Dystopia as they have that nano shatter combo, maybe even building up to that late Bob or EMP. But with this aggression from Nemesis, they just burst through the choke point. But speaking of burst, Asphyxia has burst down, and now they have to retreat just as quickly. Mythic sends the Moira packing as well as the D.Va. And it looks like yet another defensive play here from Dystopia. They're looking pretty good on point A. However, they've just burned down half of the time bank, and they need to do a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, unfortunately, they're Knight Assailant figuring out how hard it is to get healed by your team if they are dead. They fall super quickly there to the side of Dystopia. Savage Brit trying to stage for this EMP, hopefully doing some scouting right now, communicating where the Mercy is, where the adjacent team is in comparison to yours. Nemesis should be able to walk forward here, and then here comes the EMP. Perfectly played.
Ooh, EMP Shatter as well as a Deadeye. That's just going to obliterate Dystopia. They do get one trade back, but that's just really a consultation prize for the one veg man as Dystopia are sent packing away from point A. They're going to have to hope for a nice high ground hold here on B. But 4 minutes again, that seems to be the number of the day as Nemesis has that big time bank.
Yeah, I mean, a consolation prize, definitely. I mean, once again, look at that EMP shatter there, and that's how you throw the EMP shatter in a rushdown comp. You let your team get right on the cusp of engaging. As those Reinhardts meet to give each other a quick little kiss before swinging, that's when the EMP comes in. That's when you amp speed and you're able to walk on them for free.
Mythic with an early kill. That means Savage Brit is not going to be available. Oh, but the grab isn't available as well. Oh, and Athema getting another ultimate eat. That's to just this map for the D.Va player. Now Knight Assailant punishes Elsa there on the Reinhardt. Oh, and Athema is going to have their mech gone, but JMD kills themselves with that same bomb. Catboy is going to give Knight Assailant yet another exit ticket here, and Dystopia trading back the kills. Mythic on the high ground gets to puts the dynamite damage in and maybe even gets the exit kill onto the Lucio. Bob helps out, and it looks like they have EMP, Shatter, and yet another Nano Boost ready to go.
Yeah, definitely a ton of opportunities to work here for Dystopia on how they want to open this up. But what they first got to do is try and transition high ground, or at least send the D.Va up there, because Mythic is a force to be reckoned with on this high ground. What I want to see them try and do is speed boost right side into that castle, find the Mega Health Pack room, and then work their way up to that Ashe, because she can't live up there for free right now.
It's going to be really tough as now JMD does swap to the Bob. Oanathema is going to have to watch out for that hook. Can't eat that one despite eating so many other ultimates. The hack comes through and Elsa is momentarily disabled, but has that shatter straight out of the hack. The Nano Boost is just going to give that hammer a bit more energy, as it looks like the EMP just completely cancels the sound barrier. Night Assailant moving forward, but the rest of his team isn't there with him. Both supports are gone. JMD and Mythic with the picks. It looks like the Resurrect comes through as well, just to give Elsa that bit of extra time here in this team fight. We'll pick off that D.Va late, and it looks like yet another hold here. They're burning down the time bank quite well yet again, Dystopia.
And you're watching how these very basic abilities are turning around fights. I mean, a hack from Catboy to follow up the ante onto Night Assailant from the one Vegman, that alone turns that fight around from what was in Nemesis' favor. After the hack and after the Nano came out onto Elsa, they still end up killing him. But the ante onto Night Assailant turns it around, and watch here they go. Now they're going to opt for the high ground. Now they're going to get the Sash off.
And it looks like the high ground rotation was just a bit of the team sent forward as Savage Brit gets the pick on the low ground. Oh, that translocator isn't going to do you any good, Catboy. Picked off as well by this Sombra. Doesn't have that EMP up in the front lines to capitalize with that bomb, so the combo won't be there. However, there is a combo of Bobs. One is going to get hooked off the map while the other is just burst down. And it looks like those partners of Ashe, the power of friendship, doesn't come to fruition in this fight, but not many ultimates to hold this one out from B for Dystopia.
Yeah, JMD looking for a sketchy hook here off the map, tries to find one, has a shield to work against though. Here comes the EMP, and now, yeah, Elsa's dead. There's no way he should live through this.
The shatter comes as well, and it's a huge one yet again. Night Assailant popping off has so much support from those support players on his team. Slept up, and now the shatter comes through on the other end. It looks like Dystopia yet again are going to bring these fights back from the brink. However, overtime is just going to begin, as it looks like we still have some stalls left on the point. Nemesis ready to go. They have a few players left, and they might just be able to push this one through. However, JMD coming back has that whole hog ready to go, the EMP as well, and these players are just being forced off, swatted away. The hook comes through, doesn't quite demech Oanathema, who is building towards that bomb, but it's still just a matter of time before they get those ultimates ready to go. Mythic has the Bob, and that could spell trouble here.
Oanathema trying to desperately get back, and Mech knows that they have a bomb ready. Unfortunately falls though, and you'll watch as Dystopia take Eichenwald. So we are officially 1-1 in the series here. This is gonna be a good one from what it looks like. Maybe another barn burner. Maybe we go to map 5 again.
Yeah, it's just getting started here in the console. Overwatch MTT yet again. You guys just getting started again with this match as Nemesis Dystopia tied up here in Xbox EU Tier 3. I believe we're gonna give you guys a short break on stream while I get my camera plugged in and I bring it back to you guys for the rest of the match, as it could die any moment now. But after that short little break, we'll have you guys with a bit of analysis, and we'll bring it back into this match, which again has just been so close. Welcome back, as we're just getting started here on Friday night. Overwatch is Nemesis versus Dystopia Tier 3 here in Xbox EU, and they are tied up as we head into Full Sky Industries. Two very dominant displays on each map from each team. They have just been so close, firing back and forth with those ultimate combos, with Mythic popping off there on Ilias a bit. Didn't see as much from the player on Eichenwald, but they're looking to carry over their momentum as they did take the win on that map. And They're carrying it onto a very frigid location of Volskaya Industries, as I'm sure you guys can see on your screen. Unicorn, what do you think are the keys to victory for each squad here as we move forward?
Well, for each of them individually, I think you hit the nail on the head accidentally. I think Frigid is the way to go here. I think we see a lot of Savage Brit on this Mei again. I think we may see Catboy try and match it, but maybe we see some Sim Mei strats from the attacking side. Just get right up to that island and try and find an isolation to a main tank, or, you know, whoever's unlucky enough to find themselves in that choke. Frag out on that target, then walk forward on the rest with a speed boost. I think we'll see some Mei. I think we'll see some Sim for attack, maybe a Reaper paired with either one of those if they choose to opt for it. But also, what we got to acknowledge is Mythic having the high ground advantage for defense on Volskaya here,
Oh, yeah.
as they're going to push forward and walk right into his Ashe, Widowmaker, whatever he decides to run with, because right now he's popping off.
Yeah, Navixia has been doing pretty well there on the Reaper, but it's going to be tough to contest in Ashe that, again, has those super far back high grounds. I think we may see double shield for the first time from Dystopia if they choose to run that path on defense. I think Nemesis most likely are going to stick with that Brawl, as it has fared pretty well, except for on that long-range point of Eichenwald. But jumping straight into the match, did I call it or did I call it? Dystopia, double shield on the defense. Nemesis is going to take out the Brawl and attack, but it looks like we see some Sombra from both sides.
Yeah, I mean, they've both been such a huge fan of it here. I can't blame them. I was curious if we would see a Sim Mei, maybe see a Sim Reaper, but, you know, with the way Catboy and Savage Brit have both popped off respectively on their Sombras, finding big EMPs, and not only that, but getting utilization out of those picks with general hacks, usually onto the main tank, I would opt for the pick here as well, and I can't blame them one bit for it. We'll just have to see who can find the better hacks here. Is, at least in my opinion, Savage Brit has been able to pull off that 1v1 a little bit better.
Yeah, and Savage Brit even getting ahead in EMP charge, despite being on the attack here, already about a fifth towards that huge damaging ultimate, but is forced to translocate away as now Night Assailant moves over to the high ground. They're going to send O Anathema on a bit of a solo mission, but that doesn't do too much as they do join the rest of their squad on this rotation. However, speaking of rotations, it looks like Dystopia is going to choose to play back on this low ground, move away from the Mega Health Pack room, and just look for a way up these stairs as Catboy peeking around these angles. Mythic halfway to a Bob, but it looks like the fight has stalled out for a bit.
Yeah, Dystopia doesn't mind holding the point here, because what Nemesis' plan was to give McCree the high ground, get Avixia up there on the high ground so he can rain down. But Dystopia know that they have the better spam, so they can sit on point for as long as they want, but not when they have a Reinhardt in their face like they do now.
Avixia rolling straight up at Mythic, hitting the stun, hitting the flashbang there, and getting the kill. However, the resurrect is there. Avixia follows it up one. You bring one person back into the fight, and they'll just take out someone with even more value. It looks like they will be able to implant themselves on this objective. The Coalescence getting a lot of value there, as the hack on the back end does offer a bit of safety for Dystopia, but that safety is gone as again Avixia rolls through with the flashbang, gets the beat down. And now it's just staggering out on the point. Dystopia, they're gonna be forced to hold objective B, and I think there's gonna be a pretty big time bank.
Yeah, Mythic falls late there, definitely adds up some extra time. Dystopia gonna choose to stay with this double shield combo. They've got a Flux and a Supercharger right here in the oven ready to go. Savage Brit ready with the EMP to counter any of those ultimates that we just mentioned, but here's Catboy as well, just now ready with the EMP. We'll have to see who can capitalize on it quickly, as Savage Brit may want to find an entry frag onto Mythic.
Thick stack of ultimates ready to go for Dystopia, and they might take the initiative on this fight. It looks like Zedfell stunned out of the Gravitic Flux. That's absolutely huge. Weren't able to catch it on stream, but we do catch that nice one clip there onto Mythic, as the Ashe player was disconnected from their Mercy. But with these trades back, with just the superior ult bank, it looks like Dystopia's tanks will be able to force out Nemesis.
Yeah, Mythic able to come back here and supply the damage that's needed to get the D.Va out of mech and really force that fight to take a quick halt after the one Vegman kind of put his tanks on his back with that amplification matrix, threw it out to sustain that double shield as that Rhine wanted to walk onto him. But Nemesis gets a good dry fight there. Dystopia committed a lot. They committed the Supercharger, the Gravitic Flux, and the Amplification Matrix. I believe they also threw a Bob as well, and they don't throw, I think, anything. And now they're going to be able to walk in here practically for free with 4 ults ready to go, right at 5 with Owen and Athema coming up on the self-destruct.
Yeah, and all Dystopia has to offer is that EMP from Catboy, who is currently chilling on the back stairwell, camping a teleporter from Savage Brit. However, I think that teleporter is destroyed, but the ultimate advantage comes in strong as Night Assailant lands down the Shatter. Already halfway progress gained, and it looks like Bob is going to be the only one left on that objective. The Resurrect is there, and it's a big EMP. Well, no, a stun coming out before it can fully finish the animation, and that's just a disaster for any stalls that Dystopia wanted to put together. There's the self-destruct on the point, but it doesn't even need any value as Night Assailant just hammers down everyone who's left.
And I'll tell you what, the EMP is a hard one to counter directly, especially in a T3 environment, but they find a way to stop that beat drop, or excuse me, in an attempt to stop that beat drop from sustaining the team. Instead, the stun comes out, the EMP fails, and Nemesis take it with 3:06 left in the time bank.
Yeah, absolutely huge play, and just one ultimate can make so much of a difference. As on 2CP, of course, everyone loves this map type, as you can see minute-long stalls there on Objective B from the defenders, and then they actually pull out the fight win just because of one kill. But that didn't happen here, as the stun was absolutely crucial in Nemesis' attack, as they do put up a 3-minute time bank. Dystopia, on the other hand, they're finally back down from where they were in map 1. It looks like Nemesis is cleaning up their act a bit from Eichenwald there on that attack. Things weren't working, and it looks like they will opt for the double shield as well here on the defense.
Yeah, and I think, you know, for any players, any respective coaches in the chat wondering how you win those fights on 2CP, I think Nemesis just proved to all of us, you know, how much drive fights actually matter, because they are so important, and that's what we saw work perfectly there against Dystopia. Force out the ultimates, take a fight loss for the sake of 30, 45 seconds, then come in there, everyone mash Y at the same time, and then practically profit after that. But we see Mythic coming out on the Pharah. He's gonna have a Vixia's Ash to work against, but a pocket of his own here as he gets some chip damage in initially.
Yeah, already a lot of damage put on to Oa and Athema there, the Sigma, as well as a Vixia, who is going to try and take that fire out of the sky, but nothing gained so far. As Dystopia, they're doing a good job of closing the distance so far, but now without a shield and without a fire raining down damage, it's going to be tough for them. Zedfell falls without that barrier. The Resurrect is there onto Mythic, but it isn't going to mean too much, as without a main tank, you're going to have to retreat.
Yeah, Mythic just wants to get out here, maybe get up in the air, find some more chip damage, about 40%, maybe opting for a switch here, but it's not. The one Vegman going to get the same opportunity here, as he's going to be at the gray screen for a few seconds.
Oh, and another.
Mythic opt for the McCree, and Byron falls as well to a Vixia's Ash. Kind of popping here.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start on the defense. They've already cut down the time bank over a minute, and that time bank is just going to be drained even more as Dystopia have to regroup and reset for yet another fight. It looks like Catboy is actually spotted out in the back by Savage Brit, who is currently super low health, but both of the Sombras forced away from each other and will just get their respective health packs. Now it looks like Nemesis trying to play this slow, trying to build up towards yet another EFP, but I think Dystopia wants to do the same thing. It's going to be a bare knuckle brawl as no ultimates are ready, but without a Baptiste, that brawl is going to be very tough to survive through, as Dystopia already claiming their space on the objective. Vixia is gone from the high ground, and that without that nuisance, it's going to be easy pickings for the rest of Dystopia as they move forward onto this objective.
Definitely a strange rotation there from the side of Nemesis. I wanted to see them play it a bit more aggressive, but instead it looks like Muzza flies in, gets out of position, and falls immediately to a flashbang Fan the Hammer from Mythic, who's about 75% to a high noon. But what I want to watch here is Zedfell on this Reinhardt with right here 100% to a Shatter. He's got it in the oven and ready to go, and I feel like we're going to see the EMP Shatter combo.
There's an early pick already, and Dystopia's ready to go. EMP Shatter, you called it. The anti-grenade is there as well. The counter EMP is going to land on 5, but they need to stall really quick. The Bob is there, though, and the health bars are dropping rather quickly for Dystopia. The headshot as well onto the one Vegman. and that could just do it. Avixia might be able to single-handedly carry his team back into this fight, but he has to work against Mythic, dropping in the Deadeye, but stunned up out of it and actually killed by Anathema. Now you've got the Doomfist even to stall this one out, but still trades coming every which way. But now you see the respawn advantage coming through all the way, and just the melee power of the Doomfist coupled with Avixia. I don't even know how many kills he got, but it was a lot that fight.
I mean, absolutely popped off. Then the accretion from Anathema there, I mean, super well played just from the side of Nemesis to sustain after that. Very hard staggers to come back from. The EMP Shatter comes in from what we see here, but it was Nemesis who ended up turning it around on the back of Avixia with those picks and those headshots. But you see Dystopia immediately getting in here, want to push forward again.
Oh, it's another hack. Anathema, no Graphitic Flux. These Sombras have just been back and forth with so much damage put in from each of them. Zedfel tries to drop in the Shatter, but canceled out of that one as well by Savage Brit this time. Trades back and forth, but again, Nemesis comes out on top. They will have the superior time bank no matter what, as Dystopia is forced back.
Vixia wants to find this McCree here, ends up backing up. He's got a Bob ready to go. I mean, they've got ult galore here for the side of Nemesis. They've got a Coalescence just to enter with, maybe a Meteor Strike if they're feeling froggy, and then a Vixia with the Bob ready to contest point if things get a little weird here toward the end. But Dystopia's got to grab as well. They've got some options here, but I think we just go for a dry fight just like Nemesis did.
Here comes the EMP. We'll see if they can capitalize on it. But Charlie Gold putting that defensive Coalescence in actually gets stunned up. I don't think any ultimate has lasted the full duration. As you see again, the Meteor Strike canceled out there from Savage Brit. Catboy claims the kill. And it looks like my feed momentarily dies, but I didn't miss much as Nemesis are just cleaning up at this point.
Yeah, and it seems like Catboy and team from Dystopia here have good ideas of what to do with the EMP, but without a Lucio, without having your team directly in position, it's hard to follow up and capitalize on the lack of abilities that Nemesis has for those 5 seconds when they don't have the opportunity to walk forward as much as they'd like to, especially when Savage Brit is getting, hacks of his own. It's difficult for the EMP to work without the Lucio, especially in a brawl setting, and I think Dystopia are running into that problem pretty frequently.
Mythic is back on the Widow. Now they have a lot of disrupt. JMD on the ball as well, but they can't disrupt this lodged on the point Reinhardt of Night Assailant. Has a Shadow ready to go as well. That shield is going to be broken rather quickly, and they might not even invest it, as Savage Brit, who is back on this Sombra, instantly swaps to counter out the ball in the Widow. Very smart from them. Mythic is going to get a kill. It's traded back by Savage Brit, but again, Nemesis do hold, and that huge time bank Dystopia had after the quick capture is being boiled down to potentially an overtime fight, if anything.
Yeah, and once again, not to be too critical of these teams, but NSB, if you can help me kind of rack my brain here, I'm not sure why we're still on Mercy. I'm not sure what Byron is really offering here on this Mercy. Instead, a Lucio could offer so much for especially getting your Winston into the positions that they want to be, but the Mercy on a Widow isn't going to do too much when most of these heroes are going to die immediately. But here comes the Bob from Avixia.
Mythic with the early pick. Now Savage Brit doesn't have the chance to build towards that EMP. Very crucial there. However, Avixia's Bob no longer offers that sight line. The Shatter coming through, but it's blocked as well as the bomb. Some nice shielding coming through there. And now JMD moves forward, gets the pick onto the high ground, but it is rezzed right back up. Now Dystopia all hacked. Avixia newly rezzed and already getting some value. JMD trading it back with Zedfel, though, before Zedfel falls. And one of these, again, crazy fights as overtime is just about to begin, but the EMP closes it out before it can activate. Those few seconds left are going to be very crucial as Dystopia gets their second point up on the board.
Yeah, they matter so much, especially with only, I believe, about a minute left in the time bank here. Going against 359 for the side of Nemesis. This is going to be a hard ass from Dystopia, just as that attack was. Ran into a lot of issues, and they're going to see if they can correct it quickly here, as they'll be attacking first.
It's going to be very tough to pit a 1 minute time bank against a 3:59 time almost 4 minutes. That's what you started out with if you're Nemesis, and they had a quick point A capture as well. It only took them 2 minutes to get that full percentage on point A, let alone a single tick. So it's looking very good for Nemesis to put themselves ahead, but Dystopia, they still have the ability to maybe win this one out. Again, it's going to be very tough, but there is the slim possibility that they can come out with a win or maybe even a draw.
So what changes here? So to go back to what we were saying, are you on the same page as me as far as this Mercy is concerned? Are you just as confused about it as I am with the picks that Dystopia are choosing to run?
I'd honestly love anything else. You could even put in a Brig to protect your Widow and still armor pack JMD. You could put in the Lucio, like you said. I think that's definitely the best option. The Mercy doesn't really offer too much, like you said, but we'll see if it offers at least a tick here. That's what Dystopia want. They want to not put this in a situation where they have to settle for a draw or something like that. They have to win this singular fight, and they have to win it pretty well just to put it on objective B and give themselves room to work with.
Mythic on the flank of the Sentry here from a Widowmaker right under the side of Nemesis. I want to see what Mythic's going to do here. Maybe grapple up and try and go for some sort of air trick shot here. Maybe a 360 no scope. I don't know, but it doesn't matter because our favorite player, Byron, on the Mercy is going to burn as JMD looks in disgust at his support players unable to get behind the wall. Turns out not having 600 HP makes a slight bit of difference going up against Avixia's Ashe.
Oh, and look at the time bank. There's only 8 seconds left. They spent so long rotating that they're going to have to come back in just a bunch of staggers. Avixia with an early kill picks up that nice elimination onto the counterpart sniper. Now Zedfell is gone. I don't blame him for dying there, as there's not much you can do as a staggering Reinhardt onto the point with a low barrier charge. Now Nemesis, they have dropped down. They're going to get up close and personal, and that might almost give them kills, but Avixia, on the other hand, gets 4, make it 5, drops in the bomb as a celebration, and they just have to get rid of these last few stalls. Catboy translocates out, and that is going to be it. All they can settle for is a draw right now, but Nemesis looking very good to take the lead.
Well, let's play comp roulette here in SB. You've got 4 minutes to hold against a tick. Run me through your 6-stack comp as quickly as you can here.
Honestly, I'd have to say you go for the cheese. Like, it's do or die time at this point if you are Dystopia, and like, it's always worth a shot to run the cheese. You can throw in a Bastion, throw in a Torbjorn, maybe a Sim, maybe a Mei to close down space. But I think something has to come out that is wild and cheesy, and it looks like they do not listen to me, and they're just going to run it out with a normal brawl, which they're going to have to play quite aggressive into Nemesis. They can't let Avixia dissect them like that happened on defense. They can't let Savage Brit get these everlasting high-value hacks.
Yeah, and you called it pretty well here. Avixia on the Ashe, and it looks like we see Avixia on the Widow for now. Ops back for the Ashe. As I say that, I'm the worst with the caster curses. But Avixia has been eviscerating the backline of Dystopia. Even on the attacks, finding those picks onto the support as they all want to transition to that high ground natural structure. None of them have the opportunity to get there. And look at the cheese that they are going to try and opt for with an early brawl. And it looks like they do have the one Begman on the Lucio, so they finally heard us. Somehow, even though it's pre-recorded, heard our cries and our begs to get on this Lucio Moira, and it looks like it might work here as they're going to try and get an entry frag onto Avixia, but he knows what's up.
Yeah, already 30% towards that Bob, but Mythic already getting a kill as well. Just when you need him, he shows up, gets a second as the Resurrect comes through. I can't even finish a sentence before he gets another. Now Dystopia pushing all the way through, and this is such a smart decision because you don't really have anything to lose, and Nemesis is going to cut down their time bank significantly as they have to wait for Night Assailant to respawn.
Not only that, but look what it offers for the side of Dystopia. It didn't quite go as well in their favor as it should have. Nemesis got a lot of damage onto them, but the idea for Dystopia hopefully was to get a quick brawl and be up on ult charge. That way we can snowball that into a multiple fight series here and have a better chance of getting this hold. They are only about 25% off of a shatter, but otherwise, I mean, Avixia is keeping up here. I mean, we're talking 15% away from a Bob. As I'm speaking, like you said, can't even finish the sentence. He's got the Bob in the oven almost ready to go.
Savage Brit opens it up, swaps over to the Echo, and immediately lands a volley of sticky bombs finding the opening. Now Dystopia has to use ults, and they have to use them now. They gotta engage pretty quickly. Nemesis can't wait any longer to get in front, as it looks like Mythic is going to look for the high ground Deadeye. The Shatter is in the front, but now there's no contest in the back. Mythic with 2. Savage Brit trades 1 on to JMD, but without the mech and without those DPS, it's going to be very tough for Nemesis to clean up this fight. And that's exactly what they do not do. They are sent back to spawn yet again, but there's still over 2 minutes left that Dystopia has to hold.
Yeah, with 2 minutes left, you know that Dystopia has the ultimate economy favored in for them right now. Excuse me. They know that they have so much to work with. If I'm Nemesis, I do nothing. I just go dry fight after dry fight until I can get 5, maybe even 6 ults in the oven. Then I just dump it all onto the side of Dystopia and clean up this first tick. It shouldn't be too hard to do. They're just gonna have to play a little bit more patiently.
That's exactly what they've done this whole series. On the rotate, they actually clean up an early pick. Now Dystopia is going to be forced back. Catboy looking to teleport around the side and get that Death Blossom activated. But I'm looking to a huge engaging coalescence here from Dystopia. They need to do something quick, but Nemesis is actually kind of wasting their own time, as Mythic has already respawned in the Tracer and might be back before this engagement breaks out.
Yeah, he definitely is going to be. JMD ready to grab that floor as well. As soon as he sees Awanathema away from that DM, no longer has the possibility. And speaking of, if Awanathema eats a couple more ults, maybe an MVP contention here. We have to talk more about Awanathema here as they go to Brawl on point.
Oh, and look, exactly what you called. Awanathema gets the eat, and that's just a disaster. Oh, that's exactly what you don't want to have. And Nemesis trying desperately to continue this fight off the back of that amazing eat, but now Mythic shows up exactly when he needs to. That's already 2 for the Tracer. Blinks back onto the map. That boop isn't going to do too much. And on the other hand, the one Veg man gets the boop in turn. But now JMD, Mythic, they're both forced onto these stall picks, and they could be taken apart by the Shattered Bomb combo.
It's crazy to me how they have not been able to get a tick. I think patience was what was needed, and unfortunately, we haven't seen it, especially like you said with the eat from Awanathema. They've got some ults to work with. It's gonna have to come fast here, as Awanathema wants to try and deny this Tracer as much as possible. But here comes Mythic behind. Maybe wants to find a pulse bomb.
Yeah, looking for that stick. Lands. Oh no,
my
doesn't
goodness.
land anything. It's another eat, but Catboy immediately trades it back. And I think this is going to be another fight going the wayside for Nemesis, as it looks like Dystopia has fought back yet again. However, their carry is gone. Mythic dies right after trading back that kill, so it's still in the works here for that side. Dystopia trying desperately to hold on, and now they have JMD back on the ball. Somehow Byron keeps themselves alive here on the Moira and actually has the Coalescence. That's going to keep up their main tank, so now Zedfel can go swinging. Nemesis still waiting for their respawns to come back, and that could just be it.
Oh no, Night Assailant trying to come back. He has the Shatter available. Looks like, yeah, he's able to frag out there. Catboy trying to hold as well on the Doomfist, and they do end up getting the draw. They hold for
that is wild.
4 minutes. And I mean,
that is wild.
I mean, how is that not the topic of discussion right now? Either if I'm Awanathema and we're not getting that win, I'm setting my controller down, and in party chat, I'm briefly stating I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else I can offer right now, because there is definitely a problem. And I'll tell you what, it is not coming from that D.Va player to not close that out with 1 tick there. That's got to be disappointing. From Awanathema, got to be most disappointed, but Nemesis is not happy about drawing that one.
Yeah, Dystopia walking away with that one has to be so happy that they put that together. And they had some clutch moments on their side. But
for sure,
again, if I'm Awanathema, I am opening up my social tab and moving over to my teammates and hitting the report feature there in the Overwatch menu, because that was a game that is a must win. And now moving into Rialto, that gives the other side the momentum. But with that momentum, what do you think they do? Do you think that they pick the defense to maybe give themselves a bit of room to breathe, or do they just keep brawling forward with that attack?
I think what Dystopia has to do, I'll tell you what, whether they opt for defense or attack here, I think they have to try and exploit what has clearly been a carry from Thema as far as the tank line is concerned. I think we continue running Sombra, and instead we're just constantly putting hacks on D.Va. Then that 600 HP, you know, especially pre-buff, no armor included, or less armor included, I should say. We get the hack onto her, and now it's just free damage. Now our DPS are building ults off of it. A lot of help to work with to get those ults. Maybe that's what we go for instead of the Rhine. But Dystopia not only has to get Mythic on a hit scan where he's protected and can pop off, but they need to answer Avixia on the Ashe, and they need to try and figure out something to do against Thema here.
Yeah, they just have to pick off Avixia as well there on that Ashe. And I think Mythic was coming back into it, and you can tell when they're on the Tracer, they are very comfortable. They pulled out some 4-kill fights there on the defense, I believe, from Volskaya, giving us glimpses of those plays on Ilias. So I think if they come out on the Tracer yet again, even if they take this Ashe duel, I think Mythic can still contest Avixia on this Ashe, which is a crazy thing to say when these two DPS are just the best of the best here in EU Tier 3 Xbox. And it's just been great to watch them. Of course, the D.Va play has been just wild as well. But now it is go time for both of these squads. I think whichever team can win this map really puts themselves above and beyond the other team and will be able to carry that momentum forward into a map 5 that absolutely must happen at this point.
Definitely. In chat, your screens do not deceive you. Volskaya wound up in a draw. We are on map 4, but it is still 1-1 here. Nemesis versus Dystopia, EU Tier 3 in the CGL multi-tier tournament. And I mean, it's been a barn burner so far, and I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to cast it. It's been a lot of fun, but we've got to see something change here for the side of Dystopia. They've got the momentum in their favor, like you mentioned, going into their map pick.
And Nemesis opts for the close hold. I think we're on Havana or something, because this only comes out in the Cuban streets, but it looks like it's coming out on the Italian streets as well, as Loki the Gamer pins all the way into the backline after getting that Fire Strike kill. However, Zedfeld does flame that pick before dropping himself. But with that one kill, Dystopia has the respawn advantage. But still, Nemesis getting those late kills is going to be nice for them, even if they lose out on the next fight. This is an absolutely huge time bank reduction for them.
Yeah, Avixia chooses to hold Mythic inside that spawn door. Zedfeld does have the spawn advantage as he comes back, but Mythic in the sky here on the Pharah instead goes into the spawn door, tries to get in the air. Avixia finds Zedfeld though. This spawn door hold is still working even without the Reinhardt there yet.
Savage Brit with that Icicle is going to open up space, as now Loki the Gamer is back and already almost ready to go with that Earth Shatter. They have the Coalescence as well, as Charlie Gold also makes his way back into the engagement. Uses that one immediately upon rounding the corner, and the wall pushes Zedfeld up into the ceiling there. A bit of a weird interaction, as that Reinhardt is also building up to a Shatter, despite just breaking out though, as now Dystopia finally, it's their time to engage, but the shield is broken and they retreat yet again.
Yeah, they've got the ult advantage here. They're going to have to use it, but I mean, even if Nemesis falls here, they're so happy with this hold, especially to use the ultimates. There's the grab, there's the barrage. Dystopia are finally able to see the light of day as they walk out of the spawn room and greet themselves on streets, and greet Muzza with a quick direct hit there from Mythic. And what a hold there from Nemesis. I mean, we're down to 2 minutes here on Rialto, and we've walked, what, 10, 15 feet so far with the payload?
Yeah, Mythic getting a 5k there, I believe, on the Pharah. But again, that's just not even such a good thing for them. They still have to walk through this open area where now the Brawl can get up close and personal. They have both of those DPS ults ready to go. Dropping in the Death Blossom. That Immortality Field doesn't last long, but the Pulse Bomb on the other side gets rid of Loki the Gamer. Now you're going to have Thema moving forward, gets a pick already, and cleans up Catboy in the back lines as well. JMD gets that trade back, and now Mythic is on the back lines shooting down those rockets. But again, it seems like Dystopia has just stalled out for a bit and will have to regroup. But they're running into so many ultimates on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, they are. You see Mythic here trying to go for a crazy boop on the bridge. Instead, chooses to back up here. Has his respective Mercy from Byron with him on that side. You see the Blizzard come in. The Rhine Pin doesn't work because the freeze comes in as well. Immortality Field's not quite able to block it. Falls quickly, but it looks like it's just about enough for Dystopia to walk backwards just long enough to get a Shatter blocked and then a Shatter into your own May wall.
Yeah, I'm not happy if I'm Loki the Gamer there, and he even dies.
Neither of the Rhines
after
aren't
it.
happy.
Yeah, both of them not necessarily landing their ultimates, but it looks like Avixia is still getting these trades back, and that's really good for just Nemesis stalling it out even longer. The Dynamite doesn't land on anything, however, Catboy is still running rampant in the backlines, finds a double pulse bomb, and just as the time bank is plummeting near that overtime marker, they will be able to push forward past point A.
Well, I think the main thing we have to talk about from that fight in SB is Catboy was able to get a pulse bomb out while Ioana Thema was in mech. So, I mean, that's already an achievement of its own in these previous games.
Exactly.
The Grav not quite coming out here, just trying to find some stagger picks. Look at the kill feed right now. It's the Mythic show from what we're seeing here.
Yeah, Avixia has been putting together a few picks, but it's not really anything compared to the end of B and the start of or the end of A and the start of B there. Avixia had it going at the beginning, but just as I say that, does get that power back in his own position as now you have the res coming back, so Dystopia not quite done with this yet. However, the picks still coming through, and the aggression from Nemesis is perfectly timed to send them back across the bridge and away from the corner of death.
Oh, we're sorry, Avixia. Oh, just one of them. We're sorry. There you go. Oof. There you go. Sorry. Bad time to pan you, Avixia. You've been popping off. That wasn't your best moment, but we're on board. We still believe in you.
And JMD has a Grav ready to go, and I'm looking towards the Steva yet again. I'm also looking towards Avixia, who has that Bob ready to go on the other side. But now a Sombra in the backline, and Savage Brit somehow gets the pick despite one Veg man being there.
Yeah, one Vegman opted for the DPS onto the Sombra, knowing that the Translocator was available anyway, and instead of healing Mythic on that Widow, he instead chooses to try and go for the DPS. Discord freezes just for a second on the feed, but we're right back in it here, and got a Shatter on the side of Zedfell. I'm happy with that. I think we just back up a little bit, but we're going to have to play some mind games as Loki has a Shatter of his own.
Yeah, Savage Grit does get one kill, however, trades their own life for it, and the res is there again onto Mythic, so they're going to be able to build towards that next Bob. And speaking of Bobs, that one is just completely demolished here. Loki the Gamer sort of kiting it back, doesn't really have much shielding left to go, but the hack comes through and the Shatter. Avixia with 2, and Loki the Gamer is just going to hammer down the rest as Dystopia sent packing yet again. And now overtime coming quite soon to a corner near you.
Well, NSB, we've talked about it so many times this series, but Savage Brit just kind of built different on this Sombra. I mean, finds the hacks, ends up getting the hack onto Zedfell, when I don't know if you saw, but Loki had like 200 HP on his shield. It was just about to fall. Zedfell was ready with a Shatter of his own, but instead the opposite happens, and now Savage Brit has an EMP to work with. I want to see how he plays this.
There are a lot of ultimates ready to go on the opposite side, but the EMP cancels out the amplification matrix. It's perfectly timed yet again, but now Mythic taking matters into his own hands. The Grav comes through somehow by a miracle, not eaten up. Neither is the Pulse Bomb, which gets a kill onto Savage Brit. Mythic with the final headshot sends them finally around the corner, and they might be able to be, but I expect some last second stalls as well.
Yeah, I think Nemesis will have time to come back and try and stall point 2 here. As you're gonna watch as it looks like Charlie tries to fade onto it. Instead, Loki is able to make it there, and Avixia needs to get out this Bob if they want to commit to this defense.
Zedfall already with 2 on the hammer. The bomb is going to come through, and that picks off Mythic, and that's the exact pick that you want. The res is canceled out by Catboy. Such a nice one clip coming in there, and the other res comes through as somehow, yet again, Mythic is back into the fight just due to the amazing miracles that their Mercy provides. The Shatter booped back, actually claims Avixia there, and Loki the Gamer is stunned up, beamed down by JMD, and now the Moira is the only one left. it looks like Dystopia will just barely clamber on to the third objective.
I mean, not only will they clamber onto the third objective there, and they're able to walk forward and continue this map going, but they're also able to get ults out of Nemesis, which did not come at the correct time at all to keep this defense going. So, I mean, Dystopia is definitely happy with that. They've got another pulse bomb in the oven. Obviously, Mythic, with how nutty he's been on these hit scans, he's going to get that Bob back quickly. But Avixia already back to 60% of a Bob of their own. So they're going to want to walk forward here, and JMD's just got to be begging to any god that's listening to not get this grab eaten as he's headed right towards one at about 95%.
And the hack doesn't land there from Savage Brit, who is forced back. Avixia forced back as well, forced to go for that health back. Now Catboy moving around the back end, has an EMP ready to go, and Mythic gets yet another early kill. You're going to see the stick into the backside, and that damage boost isn't going to save you if you are Avixia. Now Dystopia rolling forward. They don't even need to commit the grab as they have an amplification matrix just to pour in the damage. They're moving closer and closer towards that statue. Zedfel has a shatter ready to go if they need it. He's going to land it onto 2. The grab comes in just to stall out these players. And Mythic again getting so many kills at just the right time. You're going to still have stalls coming through, but not before they cap, as Dystopia with 10 seconds make it through point C, which is quite an achievement here on Rialto.
It was, especially, and I mean, you know, it feels like it was so long ago, but after what was almost a 2-minute, you know, front door hold with those spawns, getting it at 10 minutes doesn't feel too bad here. 10 seconds in a dream, they're gonna have to put up a good defense to try and at least get Nemesis to either match that time or maybe win it right here and full hold it.
Yeah, full holds definitely possible. I'm looking to the hold on point B yet again. I think if Mythic on the Ash can put down the hurt there on that long sight line across the bridge, then it's going to be very tough for Nemesis to push around that corner there on the second objective. First point, you definitely take a full hold if you're Nemesis. However, I think they're going to have to settle for a hold on the second point, if not the corners on the third, because those can be just as deadly as well.
And I agree here, and I think that's some good insight from you as well. Getting Mythic on this Ash, especially with point B on those sight lines, I want someone up there with him. And what does that scream to me? It's JMD on a Diva instead of a Zarya. I think Zarya's been fine, and finding that charge is something he's been capable of doing. Building quick grabs is something he's been capable of doing, but there's not a lot that can contest an Ash Diva, especially with a Mercy Pocket up there on the high ground of Rialto that is so formidable if a hit scan can get up there and really thrive. So I wouldn't mind seeing a Diva from JMD, but instead we're going to see Catboy looking at the front door as they may want to opt for a front door hold of their own.
It's scary to look at that Widowmaker. However, the Widowmaker is putting themselves in a bit of a trap as Mythic lands a few shots, but the grapple is there and the support is perfectly timed as now. There's another Sombra in the backlines, but Savage Grid is just demolished by that damage-boosted Ash. Now Avixia hacked up yet again on this side, and there's sort of 2 mini battles going on between the tanks on the cart and the DPS on the side. However, Mythic is somehow involved in both of these battles and picks off Loki as well, forcing Nemesis back.
And it's strange to see how Dystopia chooses not to go for the front door hold here, especially after it was so successful for the side of Nemesis, but they're doing a good job of their own with what they can, working with that corner. I want to see Mythic get that high ground and take the duel with the Widowmaker. I think it's a fair duel, but, you know, with Anathema on the Sigma, maybe just putting that shield in the face of Mythic is the correct answer here.
That's exactly what they do. They just storm forward, and it's a really nice stun onto Zedfel, eventually cleaned up by Anathema. And the Resurrect comes into Charlie Gold, but without that Mercy there healing, it looks like the rest of the team is going to fall around them. JMD gets the kills needed to push Nemesis back yet again. Loki the Gamer is going to try and charge up the rest of that shatter, but forced back as Anathema back on the Diva, and it looks like Avixia is still working towards that Bob as Mythic might even lap him.
Yeah, Owana wants to get on this Diva here, knows that it's the carry pick as far as what Nemesis needs right now. You see Savage Brit also opt for the Doomfist, off of the Sombra, which is something that I think it's the first time we've seen the switch from Savage within the last 2 maps, I want to say. So definitely struggling here. They can tell they're having trouble with this first point.
Gonna punch in, but that punch is instantly hacked up, and it looks like the Shatter lands on 4 there. Mythic around the back end, and JMD still running rampant on this Zarya. Loki the Gamer not able to shield himself from that 80 charge beam damage. And it looks like a 4K for JMD again sends Nemesis back to spawn. And they're really struggling, like you said, to get around these corners. They've put Savage Brit on the Doomfist, which is a bit of an interesting decision into the damage boosted Ashe, as well as the Sombra. As a Doomfist main myself, I know how Sombra can be so annoying.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that it's Doomfist's best counter. If you can put Catboy in the back line, and as soon as Savage Brit wants to commit to a rollout, first of all, he's got to get past Mythic, who Avixia is having trouble getting past as well.
Yeah.
But then he has to deal with a hack. Look at Mythic on this sightline too. So well played with knowing your angles and trying to find the right ones to better assist your team, as he's got plenty of space to work with here as far as that coach gun is concerned for getting out.
Catboy actually falls during that little backline engagement, trying to charge up that EMP, but pays for it quite horribly, as now JMD ready to go with the Graviton Surge. Mythic going to put in that counter bob as they both land straight on the objective. Anathema is going to get rid of Mythic's bob as Savage Brit goes down, and that's exactly what you don't want if your Nemesis still working, but now with under a minute. As the bomb does claim one, Avixia is finally going to get this space up on the high ground to work with. Kills off the one veg man, but the res is there, and it's another eat. Avixia is now going to have so much space. There's no grab. I don't understand either, Unicorn. It's inexplicable how a diva can eat so many ultimates all at once, and that's basically going to give them point A, as Avixia, with the space offered by that, is going to get the picks. The stall is here, but like running into an amplification matrix that is just dropped down, it's going to be very hard. But the EMP comes through. Savage Brit is gone, as well as Loki the Gamer. So it's going to be some last attempts by Nemesis to get into this one. Avixia with the shot onto Mythic takes out the res as well from Byron. I haven't said that a lot, as Byron has been so consistent on these reses. However, Bob is the only thing left on this objective, as this EMP re-engage has been so good for the side of Dystopia. They might just complete the full hold.
I mean, Avixia almost single-handedly pushing that, though. Nemesis tries to frag back out here, but Dystopia throws a bob. This is looking rough for Nemesis, and they're trying to struggle to stay on this Rialto map. They just want this first point, but as a hack comes into Loki, it's not looking good. Charlie trying to heal the payload just to see if that will push it forward, if anything. Anathema falls out of mech. This grab can't be eaten, and this is going to be what cleans it up here.
Yeah, the Shatter even coming through there onto the solo diva. The hack comes through onto Vixia the Tracer. The one Veg man gets a double to close that one out and send Dystopia on to match point as we head into map 5.
Yeah, map 5 now after that draw on Volskaya. And what is the tiebreaker here for this week? Is it Nepal?
Yes, we will be moving to Nepal next. I'm expecting another crazy one, but the brawl from Dystopia has had a specific advantage, as you saw on Volskaya at that last defense, and then Rialto was sort of a roll at the full hold there. So with the brawl going into Nepal, I think Dystopia may just be able to claim that third map.
I think it's going to be map dependent. And to be honest with you, I think Nemesis plays double shield a little bit better. And I think that that's going to go over better on a map like Sanctum, for example. But where Village and give me the other one, Shrine, as they walk into that one, Brawl is really going to be dominant on those specific maps unless you can play double shield really, really well, which we've seen Nemesis do. But I'm not sure, in this T3 environment, like we've mentioned, that they're going to be able to double shield into a Brawl. It's going to be real hard on these control type maps. But what I'm looking for here on control, we've seen how much havoc Mythic can wreak on that Tracer here in a control map. We watched on Ilios. I think we might see another Mythic show here.
Yeah, Mythic has just been popping off this whole match, and Avixia has those little moments where they can contest what has to be one of the best DPS in Xbox EU Tier 3. If Mythic isn't one of the best DPS, I don't know who is. Avixia's doing a nice job at some times, but just doesn't really have that amazing mechanic that Mythic has been able to show so far. So I think, yeah, that could be a big factor as we move into our potential final map of the series. We could even go to a 6th map. I believe it is chosen by the loser of the last map, if I'm not mistaken. Map 6 rules definitely tend to escape me, as I actually haven't casted any of those so far, apart from finals matches. But again, as we take a look at those past maps, it's been the Dystopia show in the last 3 maps, and they might be able to continue that.
Yeah, I'm hoping Mythic can continue fragging out here, but what I want to see more of, Savage Brick getting back on this Sombra, Avixia really contesting Mythic, and that's what we haven't talked about enough. Really, is we've talked about Mythic and how competent they are on the DPS, and how maybe one of the best DPS on that T3 scene as far as EU is concerned. But I'll tell you what, Avixia has been able to stand up to him and really bring the fight
Mhm.
to Mythic. He's been able to win some 1v1s here, especially with that Mercy Pocket, and especially with the help of Savage Brit on that Sombra. But instead, Savage Brit
For
opts for this
sure.
Mei.
And I like the Mei pick. It's a
Definitely.
map that definitely you sort of need to run this Brawl. And I don't blame Mythic for running the Tracer here. Tracer can work with a Brawl, not necessarily a conventional Brawl pick, but when this guy is on the sticks on this hero, then it's definitely going to work with the Brawl. However, the early wall comes out, you already see the utility offered by Mei. That's going to push Dystopia back for the moment, but those shields are breaking very quickly. Loki is gone, and that's the pressure that can be offered from the Reaper in turn. Catboy gets the pick. Now Mythic falls, and it may just be a re-engage in the works for Nemesis, but the pin comes in. Savage Brit pinned against his own wall there. A bit unfortunate for the Mei player. Now it's just stall time as Nemesis stagger one by one onto the objective. Dystopia will claim first percentage, and they do have so many early ults. Even the Beat somehow 50 ahead of Muzza.
I mean, the one Veg man, 95 on a beat, that's super fast there.
I don't
Good damage.
understand that.
Yeah, good healing all around. What I want to watch this fight is as we jump into third person perspective, or even when we're on Mythic, just watch how well he plays the Tracer, knowing that we're not committing 100% of the time, just always trying to be a nuisance with that off angle, trying to get the shield to turn for him just ever so slightly, even if it's just for a second. Speaking of turning shields, Loki turns his down into his pocket as he pins Catboy there on the Reaper.
Now it looks like Dystopia, they have their backs against a wall, and the Shatter comes through. However, Mythic trades it back with that pick on the Savage Brit. The trade's still coming through, however, and JMD drops in the Graviton Surge. That's absolutely huge. Somehow Avixia survives that one, actually gets the melee to beat down JMD, but with the Resurrect back into the mix, Zedfel is going to charge on to the point and secure that 50% mark for Dystopia.
Yeah, I think Dystopia feel pretty comfortable on control maps here, and they're demonstrating that because Nepal's going in their favor pretty hard. Elbel excited to get this grab off, but not too much to work with it unless they can get Savage Brit to get a couple heads in his line of sight for this Mei. He does build it up to 90 there, but this is going to be difficult as the pulse bomb comes in and luckily gets bubbled.
Yeah, it's a nice bubble just to block that damage, as now Loki the Gamer, speaking of blocking, he doesn't have much shield left. The Death Blossom is ready, and Catboy is stunned up, but without that stun, now it's a free Death Blossom. The Sound Barrier comes through just a bit too late to save Charlie Gold, and that could be a crucial pickoff, as now there's no main support to keep Loki the Gamer alive. The Deadeye comes through, and the shield is there momentarily for Avixia, as he does get the headshot there on the Mythic. They will be able to flip, but it's already overtime. They only have the Shatter and the Blizzard for a next fight, so I think Dystopia, both teams have been good at this, but Dystopia could just take the dry fights and then win this all out on the round.
Yeah, what Savage Bird needs to do is just get up in the front here, try and get a Blizzard early because they don't want this fight to happen on point, right? They don't want to give Zedfel the opportunity to win the mind game with the Shatter. They need to be Blizzarding like right now and then pushing forward into it. The longer they let them push up, the better they get the shield damage in as you watch Loki's shield start to crack.
Oh, the Shatter onto 5, but the wall lands just in time. However, Mythic able to dodge around that wall of ice and pick off his opposing DPS player there. Zedfel gets the hammer onto Loki the Gamer, but Charlie, with the Coalescence, trades back too. I don't think it's going to be enough as it's so late in the fight, and Mythic is still alive. When he's alive, it's always winnable for Dystopia. Picks off that Moira as well, and actually makes a questionable blink into the backline, but I think it's just to buy time as they've almost flipped it, and they have activated that overtime.
They do flip it here. Avixia, after bopping Mythic on the nose with that punch, ends up getting shattered. The grab comes in for JMD. They're going to try and turn this fight. Zedfeld falling extremely low on the Reinhardt, but Savage Brit with 5 HP on the Doomfist and a Dream trying to make it work. Looks like the Death Blossom comes in from Catboy, only finds Elbel here, and it's looking good for Dystopia as they want to close out the first map of Shrine on the ball here.
Yeah, and it looks like JMD really doesn't like the pillar in the middle, just solo grabbing it, not even landing it onto the Lucio that did have sound barrier. Luckily, his teammates did cancel that sound barrier, and the stall was cleaned up from there. Wasn't very winnable for Nemesis in that last fight, but now they have their backs against the wall yet again. They haven't managed to win a map since our first map, which is honestly a crazy thing to say when you look at how close this match has been, but they still haven't managed to bring the momentum fully back in their favor since Ilias, but now is the time to do it, or you could be sent back into the lower sides of the standings.
And it's definitely not what you want, especially so early into the season here. With this being week 3, Savage Brit back on the Sombra, obviously a comfort pick. Avixia on the Ashe. I think if you can do it, this is where it comes out.
And the one big thing I'm seeing is the Hog Zarya coming out here from Nemesis, and they've already gained the early space. However, Dystopia, if I see on the corner of my screen correctly, they're moving into the backlines, and Loki the Gamer doesn't have any movement abilities to deal with it. It's a really nice rotation from the squad in the red, and Zedfeld gets a 2-for-1 special there on the pin. And that's going to be it. Dystopia again taking first percentage, and that starts them on the fast track to win out this series.
I don't understand NSV, and once again, you know, we try to be neutral here, and we're definitely unbiased when it comes to who wins. But yeah, the double boop to clean it up. With Nemesis here, not to be too critical of them, but for a team that was so confident and so strong with their double shield, to go for double off tank there and try and just frag it out on point just seems strange to me. I mean, I'll always understand the hog pick on Sanctum, but otherwise, I think just go for the shield here. We'll see Elbel turn to that with the Sigma.
Yeah, the Sigma definitely offers a lot up against the Tracer and the Mythic Ashe. Able to adjust that shield accordingly as now Loki moves around the back side. A nice block there under the hook. Great reaction time from Zedfeld. However, his supports are going to need some reaction time to keep him alive, as now Catboy blinks into the back. You see those Ashes trading out kills, and Mythic again is going to get the better of that opposition sniper. As the one Veg man again cleaning up at the end of these fights. They're not going to commit the pulse bomb or the grab, not even the bob, as well as another headshot. That's just casual for Mythic, as now Dystopia are really pulling away with this one.
Dystopia wins that fight slowly, burns time in their favor, and doesn't use a single ultimate. If this doesn't equal a map win for the side of Nepal to close out the series, I don't know what will. I can't imagine how Dystopia can mess this up right here.
It's a really nice block under the shatter, but there was still so much pressure as, again, Dystopia moves forward. Catboy is hacked and so far into the backlines. Doesn't actually die there, able to retreat around the corners. Elbel is just beamed down by that Zarya of JMD. And still, they've only committed that one ult into the fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're
the
one fight
big
territory
veg
here. One fight territory to close out the series in the favor of Dystopia. Nemesis have to act quickly as you see him off for the Diva. The Fly gets moved back. I don't know if anyone can touch here.
Looks like Loki does activate that overtime, and now Bob is just going to try and solo carry this objective. You've got the Valkyrie coming back from Byron, and the sound barrier lands on 5. Now it's dueling Bobs on the objective, and Loki the Gamer actually does get 1 boot, but Mythic with 2, make it 3 on the Bob there, is going to seal the deal here. And as the sun sets on this match, it's going to be Dystopia out on top, looking very clean to finish that series.
Yeah, Dystopia looks fantastic there to close that out. And I mean, first of all, hats off to Nemesis just for the heart to go all 5 maps there, especially, you know, when one was a draw, we're not happy about the draw that we got, you know, so on and so forth. They not only kill it in all of their roles, but they go all 5 maps, but couldn't quite cut it when it came to Dystopia's Rialto and their control for Nepal there. They fragged out, they performed super well, and they definitely deserve the win there.
Yeah, I think it's just been a beautiful performance from almost every player in the lobby. You can't really complain if you're either squad with such a close match. I think both of them are happy. Definitely Dystopia is happy more as they have put themselves to that 2-1 record. Now, Nemesis with their first loss, no longer undefeated, and it'll be a test for them in the upcoming weeks. If they can come back from a tough loss against this rematch, and if they can continue getting these big wins against the other squads, then we could see yet another rematch against Dystopia, but that time in playoffs.
Yeah, and hopefully it is something we see because I mean now, even as you and I as casters with the chat involved as well, we've kind of built this internal rivalry of our own, right? We want to keep seeing these two teams go at it against each other. You want to see Savage Brit, throwing an EMP. You want to see the DPS popping off. Definitely well played from everyone. Hats off to Nemesis, but Dystopia takes it once again, and I think we need to talk MVP.
I think before we do talk MVP, though, we will send it to a short break. We're going to have an intermission on stream, but don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the analysis of this match in just a moment.
Perfect.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back there. An exciting match to close out the night here on our first Friday night Overwatch of the Fall 2020 multi-tier tournament. An interesting one. We had a draw. We had kind of everything going on. It ends with a 3-1-1 win for Dystopia right there at the end of the day. But a rivalry that, as you said, Unicorn, we will not soon forget. We've kind of built up here. But as you guys said before we went to the break, it's time to talk about MVP. So NSB. Who is your MVP of this last match?
All right, I think there's one name that instantly pops into my mind, and that is Mythic. And there's honestly not really any other way you can go, as Mythic just absolutely popped off on the Tracer and Ashe. And I don't say this a lot, but a player on the enemy team stood out as well, and that was Oanathema. In for those middle three maps on the Diva, despite those middle three maps all being losses or draws, for the side of Nemesis, I think Oanathema put up one of the best Diva performances I've ever seen in Tier 3 Xbox. And it was just amazing to watch that Diva player, but you cannot top Mythic's DPS.
All right, well, yeah, Mythics would give my vote too, if I'm being honest. But Unicorn, do you concur with this assessment?
I'll tell you what. Corbeck. We gotta go back. We gotta rewind a second because I'm not done talking about Oana. I'm not done with it because you mentioned one of the best divas that you've seen in T3 as someone who finds themselves in very miserable 43, 4400 games. They're not fun. Everyone wants to climb. Don't find yourself up there. Not a fun place to be. One of the best divas I've seen, period. I mean, in an organized setting, in a 6v6, we got comms, we have synergetic teams that are communicating when DM is coming out to eat a total of I think if I'm counting right, I think 8 ultimates throughout the
It must have
series.
been
8
something like that.
8 or 9 throughout it. I mean, that is unbelievably well played from the DM, especially with the recent cooldown nerfs when you can time it so perfectly. You see DM leave, you can throw a pulse bomb, throw whatever the ult is immediately. Very well played from the side of Oanathema. But yeah, sure, we gotta go with the winning team. So give it to Mythic. Absolutely nutty on the DPS. I would say Mythic, followed by a Oanathema, followed by a Vixia to really take it to Mythic and make those 1v1s super interesting. But I've got to concur. I've got to concede to the Mythic pick. I'll let you have it. That's got my MVP too.
Yeah, it was some spectacular play from both those teams. Really enjoyable match to watch. A great match to close it out on. So I'm glad we got to see that one go down. Any final thoughts here from you two gentlemen? NSB, you got anything you want to add before we close it out for the night?
I think if these two teams have yet another rematch, I would definitely be down to watch it yet again, whether I'm in the casting booth, when I'm on the analysis desk, if I'm just a spectator in the Twitch chat. I want to see these two teams play again because this has been such a fun match to cast. But I'd also like to send a thank you out to everyone in chat who stuck around for however long this stream has been overall. And I'm sure all of you guys out here on the desk would love to say a big thank you to Skate Action, our producer, for the entire night, completely carrying the broadcast as well. And then, of course, a shout out to the followers and the active chatters in Twitch chat. But that's going to do it for me. Anything else you guys would like to say?
I mean,
Unicorn?
Skate popping off on the producing as always. I mean, absolutely killed it, and I couldn't agree more with what you said previously, NSB. And I think that's the beauty of CGL in this MTT that we find ourselves in, being able to see two teams go at it with each other, and then watch a rivalry be born. I mean, it's something that's rare. You know, it's something we don't have the opportunity to see often, and to be able to cast it with you two awesome gentlemen, to be able to, as you mentioned in future games, spectate it, cast it, whatever it may be, awesome to watch this rivalry form, and super sportsmanlike from all the players. Thanks to all the chatters as well. Thanks to Skate once again, NSB, Corbeck, absolutely killing the game. Happy to be here with all of you, and that's it for me. Corbeck, send us out, man.
Very, yeah, very full of gratitude. That's good. Glad to hear it. Yes, big thank you to Skate for producing tonight. Like I said earlier, the broadcast did fly partway across the country here in the United States today. Came back and did this for us. Big thank you as well to our the guy who gave us our big host halfway through our first match tonight, Destroyer FGC. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that love and support, and thank you guys for sticking around. And of course, thanks to Joker's Ransom as well. He's not with us at the moment, but he did do the first broadcast. Thank you for participating. But I think that about does it for us here at the Console Gaming League. Tune in next week, same time, same place, 8 p.m. EST for another episode or another segment, let's say, of Friday Night Overwatch. Of course, if you want to scratch that Overwatch itch this weekend, I should say, support Tier 2 Overwatch contenders playing this weekend. The Gauntlet is going on. That's a really exciting kind of moving up to the pros Overwatch. You should definitely check that out. I think the next stage does start at midnight tonight Pacific, so it's I want to say it's a little awkward on the time zones, but it's definitely worth watching. It's great stuff, and that tournament will be going on, I think, throughout the weekend and then throughout next weekend as well. But from all of us here at the Console Gaming League, thank you once again for tuning in, and have a wonderful evening.